That's what I'm talking about. Welcome, everyone. Welcome all the lovely goglings, gogorifics, gog types, gog peoples. Welcome to episode 275 of Pen and Pixels, D&D with GOG Storm King's Thunder. I am your host, Arvin Elleron. This is the show that we do here every Tuesday from 4 to 7 p.m. Eastern, focusing on story and narrative in games. And we obviously do part of that with our tabletop games, which is a huge part of my life anyway. I love tabletop stuff. I love D&D, and I love games connected to it, and I am very happy to be with this amazing crew of players once again. Before we go any further, though, just a couple of quick reminders about the ways to support us here on the channel. If you haven't done so already, please make sure to follow us here on GOG.com. Please make sure, if you haven't done so already, to consider subscribing to us here on GOG.com, where you can get those awesome DRM-free emotes and all that kind of good stuff, so please consider doing that. And if you haven't done so already, please consider clicking through and checking out our individual channels, because we have our own individual subsystems and Patreons and all that kind of good stuff as well. Today we have got some D&D with GOG action, and this is not going to be the only time that you're going to see this crew, not just in this adventure, but in fact not just overall in the month, but actually for this adventure. So we've got D&D with GOG Storm King's Thunder today. Next Tuesday we have got Talisman Adventures coming up next on this channel during this show, and then the weekend, the last weekend of May, which is May 28th, 29th, 30th, and 31st. On my channel, we are going to be conducting ArvCon. And actually, before I go any further, let me just pop up so that you don't have to look at a blank screen. Instead, you can see... Oh, I didn't even put up Pen and Pixels, which is that. But you'll also be able to see me. There we go. Hi, everyone. Good to see you all. Welcome. I hope everyone is doing well, and I hope you folks are looking forward to an awesome session today. So, coming up at the end of the month, as I said, May 28th, 29th, is that what I said? Yes, 28th, 29th, 30th, and 31st is my charity convention to benefit the Damon Runyon Cancer Research Foundation, which we call ArvCon. ArvCon is now in its 7th year, which is hard to believe. We have raised almost $15,000 to benefit various charities, but with a particular focus on Damon Runyon. And this year we hope is going to be our biggest yet. We have a lot of corporate sponsors behind it, including GOG.com, which is going to be doing some codes for giveaways and the like. We've got a bunch of those things happening, and we also, and they're sponsoring, of course, what we've got going on here. Also, we have a concert, which is going to feature GOG's very own Kilgore Trout. So you're going to have a chance to see him. It is going to involve as well these players, because on, I believe it is Saturday, if I'm not mistaken, Saturday the 29th, we will have the GOG Stream Team crew of Tasty Chai, Peripheral Mike, Darksaber 2K, and Pyron Jade, who will be joining you for the conclusion of the Storm King's Thunder campaign, which is really exciting. It's been running for a number of years. We have a new campaign geared up and ready that we're going to be starting in the summer, but this is going to be wrapping up the session, so it's going to be one of several finales, and it's very exciting. Again, it's for a good cause. There are also giveaways. We're going to have giveaways of not only games, but we're also going to have the top 2 donators are going to get prints from Rock God, who is a professional photographer, one of my mods and viewers, and plays in my community D&D game over on my channel. He is an incredible photographer who has this amazing like metal tin type basically version of this photo that he does, which is going to be the top one, and the second donator is actually going to get a smaller print of a photo done by Prince Justin, who is another one of my viewers and who is a wonderful photographer in his own right. So there's going to be a lot of stuff. There's going to be giveaways and the community coming together, and most important, all to fight a terrible, dreaded disease in cancer. Damon Runyon is actually behind us this time, so they're actually going to have the scientists themselves. A few of the scientists that work for them are actually going to be part of this. They're going to be doing an interview with me, and then they're going to be actually playing a tabletop game on that Monday. So there's a lot that's going to be going on, and it's very exciting, and I can't wait for more. I also want to mention, just before we jump over to the current players that we've got, I do want to call out Fleos, because I see that Fleos is here, and I do want to mention, now Fleos, as many people will know, has been a it's funny because I know that he was a substitute teacher in his academic career, and so he's also been kind of a substitute player in the sense that Fleos started playing with us, and then his schedule wouldn't allow him to go away, but he's been able to actually jump in here and there, and has actually been a part of this campaign on and off as the character of Doran with his wolf, which some people will remember who are longtime watchers of this channel. Well, Fleos, out of the kindness of his heart, and no doubt because of his Canadian heritage, which causes him to be very nice, and to like hockey and maple syrup. I'm kidding. I know it was obvious. It was a softball. I'm sorry. It was just right in front of me. I have considerable more admiration for Canada than I do America in many ways. But in any case, because Fleos is awesome, Fleos has put together an audio podcast starting from the beginning. So from the beginning of the Storm King's Thunder campaign, all the way back in, I think, Temple of Tribor, I want to say, several years ago, Fleos has taken it upon himself to put together these audio podcasts, which is really nice of him and is like, I don't understand. I'm in awe of how awesome he is for doing this. So it is going to be available. It is an audio podcast, which is happening. And so what I want to double check on is, I don't know whether you've got this, whether there's a link here. I know that he gave us the link, but Fleos, do you have like a link to where we're going to be headed for it? Do you know what I mean? Like, are you, because I think, I don't know whether it's available to the general public yet or if it's not. So let me know, Fleos, if there is one, but it's going to be going up soon. Oh, there we go. So we put up the command. Lovely. So yes, you go back to the very beginning with the D&D with GOG podcast, available every Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays on Spotify and at anchor.fm.dnd with GOG. I actually listened to a little bit of this and I had forgotten. It was back in the day we started with Mega Pieman PhD. Chrono Wolf was on it. Like it's been through a lot. Mike was not even a part of it. Tasty Chai was not a part of it to begin with. So it's been a long and winding road. But thank you, Fleos, so much for doing that. Seriously, I really appreciate it. It's very kind of you. And again, this was totally Fleos' thing to kind of put it together, and I'm very grateful. So thank you. I am super excited about that, and it's great because you get to hear more of this amazing audio crew. So thank you to Fleos, good guy Fleos. Thank you for being a part of it, and so you guys can spread the word. Let everybody let them know. Spread the word. Spread news of this podcast. I have another podcast which I run for my Curse of Strahd campaign, which has already ended. Actually, ended about 4 months ago. But the podcast was about a year behind. So the audio podcast is gradually coming out, and eventually that will be finished. And I'll probably move on at that point to do another one. So so thank you. I know that it works, that it takes a lot of work. So thank you. Okay, with all that said, though, I am very happy to be able to bring in the folks who are here today. Now, as you're going to see in just a moment, we do have one person currently who is not available because of a move. So they're currently not available because of internet issues. And so I'm going to move over here to reveal to you that we have here the crew in front of you. So you can see that Tasty Chai, who is River, plays River, of course, has got internet problems at the new place and thus is not able to join us today, at least not unless something radically changes. And so one of the other players that we have here will be taking over her character. Everybody else, though, I think is where they're supposed to be, looking exactly as they should, with no difference at all in their usual appearance. So they're all here and ready for you. And so we're going to begin, as always, at the top of the column with someone who is currently working on a level up because they've been moved up to level 9. And that, of course, is the inimitable Pyron Jade, our GOG stream team leader par excellence, who also has recently gotten some new information about English language. And that's going to stay right in the green room where it belongs. None of you will ever know what that was all about. But that was, of course, Pyron Jade. Pyron, good to see you. How are you doing? How's tricks? How are things going? And is there something particularly awesome that you've noticed about being level 9 with Greta that you'd like to share? Like, is the column of fire 50 times wider than before? Like, what do you want to tell us about level 9 shenanigans for your character?
Well, hello. I'm doing fine. We're leveling up. I think what I mostly take from this is I'm not going to play a spellcaster again. It's just not for me. This is no. But yeah, so on level 9, I get 2 5-level spells just from my domain, which are Flame Strike and Scrying, which is really nice. But I only have one level 5 slot, so yay for that. I can also learn another spell because I've leveled up, so I can just choose another spell that I want to learn. But I still only have one level 5 slot, so that's like kind of a little bit of a pity, I would say.
Oh yeah, what a shame you only have one level 5, which allows you to shape the fabric of reality itself and all that, you know.
Yeah, but I get another level 4 slot as well, so I mean maybe that makes me a little bit more happy. I'll see about that.
You know.
So, I mean, scrying would be nice if you can even scry on a dragon. I don't know.
Not
But
easily, but
maybe Flame Strike will come in handy. We're gonna see. I still need to choose another nice spell from the cleric spell list. Chat, and if you chat people have some suggestions that would fit Greta, not just any spell, but some nice maximum level 5 spell, maybe lower would be cool, so I can actually use it. But if you have any ideas, put them in chat. Until then, I could roll my hit dice, I would say.
all right, let's see what we've got. Now currently Greta has got 66 hit points at maximum. So let's see what
Yes.
we've got in terms of the new and improved level 9 hit point total.
So that would be 1d8 plus my constitution
That's
modifier,
correct.
which is 3, which also means I should now open Storm King Thunder again. There we go. So 1d8 plus 3. And chat people, I need some luck here. Roll!
Oh, look at that. Wow. Wabam. Ladies and gentlemen, max hit points.
Oh, wonderful.
77. All right.
So there we go.
That's what I'm talking about. All right, Greta Goldenfire, who's got the luck and has used it up and will have no more luck the rest of the campaign. I'm just kidding.
I'm just up against a blue dragon. What could possibly go wrong?
Yeah, what could go wrong? Absolutely. All right, so I look forward to seeing how things go with level 9. Yeah, everybody was talking about this earlier in my that they were saving their inspirations for ArvCon because they're like all of these epic finales, and they're like, so people today were like, "Can I get an inspiration?" The chat was like, "Nope, saving them. Gonna need them at the end." They're like, "Oh god damn it." That's a problem for future player, not current player.
I'm looking forward to. I'm here this week, so I look forward to this. I'm really happy about Talisman because the new system gives a lot of fun to me, really.
Yeah.
So, and I'm also looking forward to ArvCon for like our final fight, and I'm at the same time already looking forward to our next campaign. It's like so many things to look forward
So
for.
many things. It's so
yes,
true. It's so
all
true.
the things.
Oh, I don't think we've actually announced this, have we? That's something after we're done with
I'm
Saber.
sorry.
I don't think we've announced. No, it's fine. It's fine. No, I told them we were going to do another campaign. No, that's
Okay.
fine. What I was going to say was I don't think we've announced what the campaign actually is. So I think we will do that today after Saber introduces himself and after we hear from Peripheral Mike. I just wanted to say quickly, Peripheral Mike has been a little quiet today. And so we're not totally sure why that is. I'm sure he's fine, but at the moment you just may notice he's being a little quieter than normal. So that's fine. But Peripheral Mike is of course playing Ura Ash, and I look forward to hearing what Mike has to say about things when he feels like speaking.
Well, Gista already tells me level 5 has so many great spells. X5 says Inferno. I will look that one up.
Something with fire, yes, I would agree with fire. Also, Geister, I wanted to say thank you because Geister said that he just bought Icarus, my graphic novel, and I did want to mention that tomorrow night, between I believe it is 7 and 8:30 p.m. Eastern, the announcement will be made. The Independent Book Publishers Association has the Benjamin Franklin Awards now in their 33rd year, and Icarus is one of the 3 finalists. So tomorrow, between 7 and 8:30 p.m. Eastern, we will actually learn whether Icarus won the gold medal out of that 3 group of finalists. So I'm very excited for that, and I cannot wait to talk more about it. And anyway, but I wanted to mention that. So thank you, Geister, for buying Icarus. And you folks can find more about it, and hopefully, cross your fingers, chat. Hopefully, we'll get some good news tomorrow evening. Also, I think Peripheral Mike has just arrived. In addition, now, I think it's important to note. I'll wait till Mike connects to audio. Okay, there we go. I'll just note as we get Mike all set up here that we were totally prepared, and if you're looking on stream, you can see we already had a picture which was available for you, Mike. And so I just wanted to point that out. Now I could switch it with your current one, but I feel like that picture does reflect a lot about your situation. So I just wanted to make sure you were okay with that, as we move along here. This thing. Mike is either staring at the screen and cannot hear me, or is actually. Nope. Can you hear us, Mike? Maybe? No? My joke went for nothing. Damn it. timing was.
There we go.
Oh, there we go. Now we can hear. So
there we go. Oh my God.
Okay, so now we can hear you. So Mike, I was going to say, I just wanted you to double check and make sure that you were okay. I can use your picture
camera.
that you
Yeah.
have. I can use the camera.
No,
you
I've been watching the stream.
Yeah,
I know
yeah.
you've got a picture of a shaved cow, which is hilarious.
What do you mean? I don't understand. Like, that's
hilarious, friend.
It's
There
just,
we
you
go.
know. Listen, and I just want
Am I
you
allowed
to know
to swear on this?
I wanted to be clear that it was a certain GOG stream team leader who gave me the blessing to do this. I just wanted.
Oh, really? Oh,
Yes.
well, that narrows it down to most people I know as GOG stream team leaders, then, doesn't it? Pirate Jade.
It were the other ones. It were all the other ones.
Yeah, all of the other ones. Let's just,
Outstar!
yeah.
Oh man. All right.
Ada.
I'm just gonna get rid of this. I don't know what you claim is a shaved cat. I don't know what you mean.
Can I at least give reference to that? Did you add context or did you not? Did you make the subtext text?
I don't know
or
what
did
you're
you not?
talking about. It's just a picture.
Yeah,
Like, what?
I'm sure you don't know what I'm talking about.
No,
I didn't either. I had to Google it.
Yeah, which
So okay. Long story short,
yes.
TLDR, right? Today has been a day, capital A, capital D, right? We get home, everything has gone massively later than anticipated. We finally get home, just about to whack a quick dinner on so I can eat and then stream. This was what? Half an hour before we were due to stream. Everything was running okay, and our pure black cat Hugo comes in with like a big dollop of white paint on him because we've been doing some DIY, and we're like, oh bleep. So it was dried paint on him, and obviously we know because of previous cat paint incidents, if he licks that off of himself, he's going to be very unwell, and that's going to be a very expensive vet bill. So we had to use my beard trimmer of all things to shave part of the cat. So that's where. But then obviously, like, he's been groomed and his nails have been done today, so he is in a bad mood. So like trying to corral a bad mood cat when you're trying to shoot and then also cook and also get stuff together and also sort this room out and also sort the stream out, because you saw the state of my camera when I logged in. Like, I don't even know. I've been working with that all day. I don't even know what people have been thinking.
So it was. So I like the fact that you're wearing an Iron Maiden hoodie, sort of
Thank
reflecting
you.
a kind of just like, merge. Like just I.
That's because this stream is a matter of life and death.
That's right. Those are true statements. And you're quite right, Kilgore. You can relate. Is spoken quite truly. Well, I'm sorry
Well,
to
I
hear
have
that, Mike.
several beers near me, several large mic-sized beers, so I'm going to start on those, and we can kick some dragon ass.
Awesome. While Pyron just introduced yourself, which means I'm moving on now to talk about Saber, who is also in the midst of leveling himself up. I don't know whether you did this yet, Mike. Leveling yourself up to level 9 because
I just get slightly angrier.
Yes, like he's even more rage-filled. So, same question to you, Saber. First of all, thank you as always for doing Moobot dashboard, etc. And so, how are you? Who are you playing? And what awesome new things does your character now have? Now that you've reached level 9.
I'm doing very, very well. Glad to be back playing Cell Sigmauer. And for his next set of tricks, he gets a +1 proficiency bonus, which is very nice. That means I get a whopping, for example, +12 to stealth rolls now. A nice +8 attack modifier.
Plus 58 stealth damage, like just
Well, yeah, one
just
extra
one
D6.
shot Imrith, just
5d6 sneak attack damage now, up from 4.
Yeah.
I get something called, because I'm playing as an arcane trickster, magical ambush, which means if I'm hidden from a target I cast a spell at, they have to roll at disadvantage. Which could come in a bit handy.
I could see that.
Something I didn't realize I could do at the 8th level, but I can do when I level up, is I can pick a spell from anything on the wizard's spell list instead of just being limited to, what was it? Normally I can only pick enchantment or illusion. But at the 8th level, one of my spells can be a free pick from anything a wizard can pick from up to level 2.
Wish.
No. Level 2. Level 2.
Oh, you
Yeah,
said
only
anything
level
from the
two.
wizard's spell list. Wish.
I wish
to
Imrith
kill
were
this dragon.
gone. Oh, look.
Yeah, I wish Imrith never here.
I wish for more wishes. Oh, I broke the universe.
Yep. That's how it always happens. Okay, so you've got so you basically are even more arcane trickstery than before is basically what we're saying. Plus the extra rogue damage. And then, of course, we have hit points to deal with. Now, when Pyron rolled for Greta, she maxed it out. So she got another 11 points, which means she's now at 77. So Celsig comes into today, 47 hit points is the total. Let's see what it will now end up as.
And it's a flat D8 because I have no con modifier either way.
Okay.
So watch this be a 1.
4. All right. Listen, right in the middle. Yeah. So 51. You break the 51 hit point plateau. I love it. All right. 51. Yes, no, not 51 out of 47. Or if that would be 51 out of 51. All right.
Haven't drunk the giant potion yet.
Yeah, I know, right? Like, yeah, right. Just holding on to it. It's only temporary until my new giant potion. It's gonna be like the Jekyll and
maybe I can borrow them from like steal them from all the other party members, and I'll just have like an IV backpack system, like Bane.
It's that sequence out of League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. Don't drink them all. Like you drink all the.
Just potions. A bandolier, yeah. Just get a bandolier, man. Just like bonus action, bonus action, bonus action, bonus action.
Exactly.
Do they stack? Do you become like a mega giant? Do you become like a titan?
That's what I meant.
I become the ultimate boss.
That's right. The ultimate boss. I sneeze while hidden, your opponent dies. Yeah, exactly, Flayos. Like that's basically what I have to deal with here. So anyway, yes, so awesome. So level 9, Celsig, 51 out of 51 hit points with even more halfling roguery than before. That leads us, of course, to Peripheral Mike, who is here after a day, as we said, but at least is here with us now in the safe, warm embrace of a coming up on existential, fight to save much of the Sword Coast as usual. Like, no big deal. Just happens every couple of years. Mike's in one of those, and so here we go. But Urash, I shouldn't say Urash. Your character that you're going to introduce to us right now, who we've never heard the name of before. How are you, Mike? Who are you playing, and what cool thing at level 9 does your character you're about to tell us about get?
Awesome. Yeah, so today's been a day, so I definitely needed this. I am playing as Urash, the half-orc barbarian and devout follower of Tempest. Also, mainly exercise due to the fact that he has a consecrated axe now, known as War's End. Although he may be renaming it after the final battle, or he may not be renaming it after the final battle. Will depend on. Yeah, that will all depend on how well that goes. That's my mobile phone. That's incredibly unprofessional of me. I do apologize about that.
It's your cat calling to tell you to go.
It is, yeah. It's like, I hate my weave, man. I hate my fade.
Dear Mike, I hate that you did this.
What do you mean I got a 1-star Yelp review? So at 9th level, I work best under pressure. It's fine. At 9th level, I get brutal critical.
Critical.
I think that's the only thing. I either get that and 1 additional rage, or that's it. Let me just have a quick check. Level 9. Oh no, I get +1 to my rage damage. Now I've rolled all of that in already, so hopefully that should be all sorted on Roll20. Apart from my hit points, because I wanted to do that on actual stream where we have real life human body witnesses. So 9th level, I get brutal critical, which basically says, beginning at 9th level, you can roll 1 additional weapon damage die when determining the extra damage for a critical hit with a melee attack. So when I crit, I will roll an additional damage die for brutal critical and an additional damage die for great weapon mastery as well.
So the way that we'll do that, because we max damage with crits here, is that you will max damage, and then what I will have to, and you'll have to remind me of this if I forget, then you will, in addition, after you've maxed damage before those things you just mentioned, then you will roll the extra dice. So
I will max damage vanilla.
Correct.
And then add the great
DLC,
weapon mastery,
as it were. Yes.
For the DLC, yeah, I will add an extra die, so an extra 2d, whatever it is, 2d12, I think it is. Because that's like the only dice I need to roll as Urash. So yeah, I'm excited. I'm very excited to carry on this. I literally have been listening to a mixture of epic fantasy soundtracks today whilst doing DIY and the soundtrack from the Avengers. And I mean the good bits of the soundtrack.
Yeah.
Not the rubbish bits in the middle that no one remembers. I'm talking the proper lead ups to the big battles and the big battle musics, and especially like Iron Man and stuff like that. And I'm literally just imagining, like, I've got so many ideas for how this may go incredibly well or incredibly badly. So I'm dead excited.
It's awesome. And yes, I am excited as well. Again, the chat, for those of you who just came in and were asking about stuff. So Tasty Chai has recently moved. Her internet is not functional at the moment, at least not particularly. We're hoping it might become, but it's not likely to work for today. So that means that we are going to push on ahead because we need to make sure that we get far enough that we have a fighting chance of actually wrapping this up during ARVCon, which is going to be happening in just a couple of weeks. Again, those of you who came in late, ARVCon is my charity convention to benefit the Damon Runyon Cancer Research Foundation, has such notable corporate sponsors as one GOG.com, there's one Fatbot Games. Those of you who watched me play, or Saber will know about them from Vaporum. Fatbot Games is also one of our sponsors now. I actually had a very good conversation with the founder, Tibor Repta, yesterday. So they are going to be doing some stuff. I just found out that Kraken Dice came into my stream last stream on my own channel and is going to also be sending a few dice sets for giveaways, which is really cool. So that's neat. So yeah, we've got lots of sponsors. Nomad Games, which does Talisman, the digital game, which was part of our thing for Talisman Adventures. Speaking of Talisman Adventures, Pegasus Spiele is also sponsoring ARVCon and is going to be doing giveaways of some of their products. So we got a lot of those things, and it's all to raise money for Damon Runyon Cancer Research Foundation. And we even have scientists from Damon Runyon, which will be playing a game on Monday as a part of ARVCon, which is really cool. And they're very excited because they were like, normally they just do sort of like stayed interviews with people, and they're just like, we get to play a game. Like, yes, you do. Yes, you do. So anyway, that's going to be coming up in a couple of weeks. I'm very grateful to GOG.com and to all of the people that are sacrificing their time and energy to be a part of this. And I hope you folks will come over and be part of that as well. So with that said, let's get into today's session and move forward. I'm going to jump off of Healing, which is the song I had up, because I think it's time for some more ominous music. How about
I need to just roll my head dice
Before the Storm? Oh yes.
Sorry, yeah, you carry on. The next dice roll you'll see on screen will be my hit dice.
Okay, here we go. Here come the hit dice. Now, right now, Urash has 76 out of 86. Although I'm going to move you up to 86 for this, Urash.
I was going to say, did we rest?
Yeah,
at all?
you would have
remember.
had a chance to rest. Yeah, so 86 out of 86 is what you're at the moment.
1d12 plus my Constitution modifier per level after first.
Right, so that means you're going to have 1d12 plus con modifier for this.
Yep, cool. Thank you very much. Oops.
And it is.
And it is. Come on, internet.
Oh! 12. All right, 12 plus con. What is your con?
Oh, I feel so healthy. My con, that's an excellent question. It is, he says, filling the silence. 2.
So you have 100 out of 100 hit points. Wow. Triple digits. Urash.
Yes.
Like you all come out and you realize Urash has not been skipping leg day. Like he is just like,
send me to the front lines.
He's ready to just, yeah. So wow, they have all maxed themselves out. So I am wow, I'm impressed.
I'm
so
super hoping that my dice roll that well when I roll my stats for my next character.
Yeah, exactly. Right, you've used up all the luck now.
You should roll like me. You should roll like me.
Did you roll good stats?
I already rolled my stats, yes.
Did you roll good?
Oh, sorry.
I rolled amazingly good.
Well, I made like a dummy character with terrible stats, but I'm still happy with it. So like even if I roll rubbish stats, I'm still going to be okay with it. But if I roll great stats, oh boy, I'm going to be so happy.
I have a little update on what Celsic can do with his spell. It's not restricted to wizard. It's any school of magic up to level 2.
Nice.
How exciting.
Any school of magic. But I assume
I thought I'd read that somewhere.
Right? Not sorcerer
I haven't.
Stuff. Okay, all right.
Yeah,
That's fine.
I suddenly noticed a random spell.
That so
You're
fits
like,
too. You're just like, I once had this guy drunk in a bar who told me about this thing, you know.
I should just have I just cast a fireball in the middle of combat, and then Gret will be like, "How did you do that?" I'll just be like, "I stole it."
I have been watching you for several years.
Stole your technique.
That difficult when you did it.
Actually, at a later level, the Arcane Trickster does get a Spell Thief ability.
That's right. That's
Touch
true.
my spells.
That's a long time.
Celsic
That's
can
way
fly.
off.
Well, Medea J, level 2
Celsic
spells are
can
not that impressive. I mean, they're some good level 2 spells. Don't get me wrong.
From
but,
any school of magic, though, that's gives
true.
you a
Yeah.
lot of
Depending on what it
choice.
is. Like,
Have
you
you
could-
seen
you
how
could
many
definitely
level
use
1
that.
and 2 spells there are?
There are a lot.
Yeah.
It is quite true. All right. The other thing I wanted to mention very quickly, Eagle Eye, the worst Hom skill ever. That's true. I did want to also announce what our next campaign is going to be, because Pyron brought this up. Now, we have, I know for sure that 3, probably 4 of these folks, it looks like all of these 4 are going to be with us. We may or may not have one or additional person. There may be some slight shifting, but it's basically going to be the same crew that you see here before you, minus Chai, who's not with us at the moment because the internet.
Also known as ARV's S ranking team. Never mind the A team or the B team. We have
Tier
the S rank
yes,
team.
yes.
Tier S.
We're using
Tier
the
S.
Japanese ranking system.
Yes,
Your
100%. We use the Devil
Pokemon
May Cry
BST
system.
1000,
Yeah.
right? Like,
We are, yeah, absolutely. He used the S team. It was super effective.
So, yes, before, however, a wild Pyron, Saber, and Peripheral Mike and Tasty Chai appear, I will tell you what the announcement is. So, chat, just before I show this very quickly, what is your guess as to what our next adventure is going to be? What's it going to be? We're playing Storm King now. What does chat think our next adventure is going to be?
You got to give him a clue, right? You got to
Yeah.
give him a letter.
Well, we could point out again, we'll be starting at level 1. It's not going to be carrying on with these
Yes,
characters,
that-
which
Yeah.
Pyron's
I think it
really
should.
looking forward to.
Yes, Pyron's
Yeah,
really pumped up
absolutely.
about that. Ever,
That sounds like I hate Greta so much. I don't hate her that much. Not
Greta's a solid character. Greta's been the moral compass of this party.
Dungeons and
Oh,
Dragons.
that's not good.
It is not Eberron, Echo, and it is not Rick and Morty. I don't know anything about adventures I could never guess. All right, well, I'll give you one hint. It involves ships and naval stuff. It is not Judge Dredd, Mr. Zeno. That sounds fun, but like that would just be all of us going, "I am the law." No, I am the law, and you know.
Oh, not Curse of Strahd. I'm already playing Curse of Strahd with a different group. I don't want to play Curse of Strahd again.
Already played that too. In a radical shift,
Already-
Arvin embraces horror and breaks on Call of Cthulhu.
Isn't that the one
No.
Dan Van
God.
Damme's playing the computer version of on Mondays as well?
Yeah, no, right.
There's a lot of Strahd about at the moment.
That's
Oh.
right. Oh God,
That's because the
Strahd's
internet
possession.
is very thirsty for vampires at this point in time. With Strahd and the tall vampire lady from Resident Evil Village, everybody's has got the vampire thirst. All of a
All
sudden.
about vampires. Ghosts and pirates, something with sewers, rats, and nasty water. That probably is true, Medea J, but that really narrows it down to 95%.
Sounds like a weekend in
of
my
most fantasy.
hometown.
Yeah. Island something. Just do some Dread D&D. The answer is Ghosts of Saltmarsh. That is right. The next campaign is going to be the Ghosts of Saltmarsh. Originally a Greyhawk campaign, and I'm happy to say that this campaign is also going to be set in Greyhawk. It is not going to be Forgotten Realms. I know Echo loves Forgotten Realms, so I hope you'll forgive me, Echo, but I'm going to do one adventure outside of it, and it's going to be Greyhawk, which is also an awesome setting. The original D&D setting was Greyhawk, actually, and we're going to talk about I have the original Gazetteer of Greyhawk and the whole bit. This actually was a first, I think, edition set of modules, I want to say, which has now been added into this. And so, yeah, Ghosts of Saltmarsh. So there's a lot of coastal raiding stuff that happens in this. There may or may not be battles with certain, I was joking with Saber that I imagine tentacles will be involved. Can't imagine why, I just realized that I pointed out Kraken Dice was one of our sponsors. I mean, you do the math, Anyway.
Love the bear business.
So yes,
I have a question.
Ghosts of Saltmarsh. You can even see the tentacles right on the cover right there, see? So it's very exciting. And that's going to be happening in the summer. Yes, Mike.
I have a quick question. For people who may not know what Greyhawk is, including but not limited to myself, could you give a very quick synopsis of what Greyhawk is? Because I know the Forgotten Realms has a lot of popularity at the moment and everybody knows Faerun, Forgotten Realms and Sword Coast, but could you give a very quick synopsis as to what Greyhawk is?
I would be happy to do so long as no one gets mad at me that we're going to spend a few more minutes not talking, or a couple minutes not talking about the actual adventure. But assuming that everyone's cool with that, yes, the Greyhawk adventure, I will show you the Gazetteer that I have, which is right over here and is down
apologies if I'm the only person in the entire 70 people and several people on stream who don't know what Greyhawk is, but I'm sure there's at least one other
I
person.
only know because after our chat last time, I looked it up. I didn't know
I
prior to
have
that myself.
no clue
So
what it is,
this
so.
is the world of Greyhawk. This was created by Gary Gygax himself, the founder of it. You can see 1980 is when this was actually formed. There you go, chat. I know it's small. There we go. 1980 is when this came out. It was the original setting, and it was a setting that has focused a lot on, I would say, there was a lot more in terms of royalty, small little kingdoms. A lot of it is based on medieval Europe and even aspects, I would say, maybe even of medieval Germany because of the various princes and principalities and things like that. You can see from the back of this that there are many such examples of various like heraldry and stuff like that. And the thing that I have to get framed, because this is an original, the thing that I have to get framed is this. I have to be very careful opening this. So here is one half of the map that Greyhawk occupies. And you can see that there are places. First of all, you've got oceans everywhere on this side. You've also got, and I'll go over this when we start the campaign as well, but we've got various barbarians, the ice barbarians who don't want to deal with the snow barbarians, who hate the frost barbarians because those splitters, right? Hold of Stonefist over here. You've got the Icy Sea. You've got the Bandit Kingdoms in the middle. The Theocracy of the Pale. You've got things like Ayaz, who controls part of the land. And one of the things that I always loved about the way that this was written was the descriptions themselves are written with a little bit of... It's kind of like the Volo's guides where you kind of get the opinion of the writer as part of it, which just sort of adds to the charm. So the land of Ayaz. Ayaz, old Ayaz of Fear Babe talk may be human or may once have been human, but this is not known for certain one way or another. He has ruled the lands from the Howling Hills south to the Lake of Wyastil for ages longer than any man can live. The lands between the Dulce and the open rivers are steeped in wickedness and evil, so much so that the otherwise fearless wolf nomads and rovers of the barrens pass through the cold marshes rather than even the merest edge of the land of Ayaz. So that kind of thing. So that was just one half, right, that I showed you. Hey, what's up, Tim Coolish? Second half. That's right, the other half of this epic... Oh, wait, I showed you that half. Never mind, that was the same half. Never mind, don't adjust your television sets. Here we go. The actual other half of this is here. And this is notable for all of you because where you are going to have your adventure mostly taking place is going to be right here. On the southeastern side of what is called the Kingdom of Kaeland, right here, there is a land that goes down this way. And right where this river, which comes out of the marshes here, leads out into the Azure Sea, is located the village of Saltmarsh. And that's where a lot of the adventure is going to take place. Notable because not only are there marshes nearby, hence Saltmarsh, and rivers going through it, but you will notice that right over here is the hold of the Sea Princes. These are pirates who enjoy nothing more than picking on ill-equipped and ill-defended ships from the rapidly fading Kingdom of Kaeland. No place better than to start an adventure, I think, than in a place like this. So that's a long-winded way of saying that Greyhawk is an original setting that Gary Gygax himself founded. It's not as big as Forgotten Realms because, quite frankly, they've had 30 years plus to actually build Forgotten Realms into something more. But I think that in some ways it's more... how do I put this? Coherent, like I mean, I shouldn't say that because Ed Greenwood's a friend and he did an amazing job with Forgotten Realms. But what I mean is it's because it's been one person who basically did it, Gary Gygax, and because it's basically one or two authors that worked on it. There's not, Ed Greenwood did a ton of the Forgotten Realms, but then there were a lot of other people that have jumped on board and filled out the edges and stuff. So there's all of this scope to it. Greyhawk is a little bit more sort of centrally located, and I would say things are a little bit closer together, which leads to a lot more interesting interactions, in my view, between different groups and races and things like that. So it's a really cool setting, and I'm glad that I actually get a chance to do it. They actually do allow you, if you wish, to set in the Forgotten Realms, but I was like, I don't want to I mean, no, like, why do we have to do that? Let's just set it in Greyhawk. So we're going to set it in Greyhawk. And so this may be used prominently. So.
Well, I personally really appreciate that because I had no idea it was set anywhere other than the Sword Coast. To be honest with you, I didn't know if this was a different part, or I don't know if anybody in chat shares this or needs to know this information. But genuinely, I really appreciate that because I think it's really important that sometimes we, as soon as we learn a piece of information about something like this, we sometimes assume everybody knows this information. But I think it's sometimes really important to say, you know, it's set in Greyhawk, which is short synopsis, which is that kind of encapsulate that perfectly. So thank you for that.
No, I'm glad. I'm glad, and I thank you for asking the question. And yeah, when we actually do the campaign and we have a little bit of a kind of a, I don't know, a tour, you know, kind of a orientation session, if you will.
And on your left,
we'll have a chance to exactly over here. We have the Sea Princes, yeah, so that's going to be prominent. One of the things about Saltmarsh that I really like is the fact that it's not that the stakes for the characters and for the village will be important, but it's very, you know, obviously, but it's going to be less of a campaign about we need to save the world and more about we need to save ourselves and this group of people. And I hope in the process of doing that we make the group of people and that small little component of the world important and valuable enough that it's worth saving, if you follow what I mean. So it's not just the world, it's your part of the world that you're like, Saltmarsh isn't going to fall on my watch. You know what I mean? And like that, I hope is going to be one of the appeals of something like this. So I'm excited about it. I also like the idea that we're going to have a chance to do a little bit. Now, I don't want to overstate it. It's not the whole thing doesn't take place on a ship, okay? It's coastal, but that means that there will be things where you do have ship things that you do and like exploring sea caves and stuff like that. So it's going to be cool. I am very excited for it. And and I also have, as opposed to the bizarre semi-ghetto method I've been using here of these maps that are like, you know, repurposed for other things and everything, I actually went and I splurged on not only buying the book version, but I also bought the Roll20 module. So I'll be able to actually have the full, you know, maps with player versions as well as DM versions. So you don't have to be like, ignore the number 30 in the middle of the screen for no reason and all that, you know, so I'll have that too. So it's going to be great.
What do you mean that says secret? That doesn't say secret on the map at all.
Exactly. Right. That's exactly right. Yeah. Do we get light maps too? You'll get the whole business. So, Gary Gygax, it was, so D&D very quickly starts with Chainmail, which is basically a war game set of rules that Gygax does in the late 70s. And D&D comes about essentially late 70s, early 80s. It is when it starts to pick up a little bit of prominence. Greyhawk comes out in 1981 or 2, I want to say. And then I pick it up, I get the red box, which is right back there, back in 84, 85. And I remember buying it, I'm pretty sure, from KB Toy Stores, which no longer even exists. And I bought it from there. So it's going to be neat, and you'll get more of that Greyhawk stuff as we get there. So sorry, folks. I know we took a long time to get to, our campaign, but I was also giving folks a chance to level themselves up a bit. So that was the deal. But now it is time for us to get into Forgotten Realms and Storm King's Thunder. So the chat, okay, good. I'm glad. Thank you. So the chat can be caught up on this. In our last session, the party, having rescued King Hecaton, had a chance to find out what basically was awaiting them. And what basically was awaiting them was the threat of Imrith. All of this attempt to set the big people against the little people, to get the giants to destroy the Sword Coast, the business of this maybe a red herring, who knows, Ring of Winter, all of these rumors, all of the information that was spread came as a result of the machinations of Imrith working with this Society of the Kraken, which is not Kraken Dice, those are nice people, but Society of the Kraken, which works for some mysterious shadowy presence, which will not be named in the depths of the ocean somewhere. And working with this society, Imrith attempted, very obviously, to set the giants against them by masquerading as one of the advisors for the queen, whose father, Hecaton, had been taken away, and by setting giant against giant, hill against fire, against frost, against cloud, and so on. And the party, of course, thanks to their skill and daring and a little bit of luck, managed to put all those things together and created a situation where Imrith's plans were thwarted. But it is not enough to thwart those plans, because now that they know the situation with Imrith, they must defeat and destroy her. And using Hecaton's power of scrying that he has, Hecaton has been able to discover where exactly Imrith is. It is a lair. Her lair can be found. Just give me 1 second as I go looking. The lair can be found. She's known as the Doom of the Desert. And Imrith's lair is a ruined amphitheater, which is half buried in the cold desert sands northeast of Ascor. And as we mentioned last time, Greta knows that Ascor was an abandoned and ancient dwarven city. And to the north of this city is where Imrith had made her lair. So the giants, Hecaton in particular, was like, this is not going to stand. We're going to get revenge against this person. And so Hecaton has sworn vengeance. And so Hecaton has gathered together himself and 4 storm giant bodyguards. In case you're curious, their names are Nimir, Orlecto, Shaldur, and Vasha, to confront Imrith, and has asked the party to join them. But the party was not alone, because the party, over the course of several years, has gathered together allies, and the party went to seek those allies out. River went to speak to Greta's favorite, Kalismana, and Greta's even more favorite, Diego Maradona, the bard, and the harpers, to try to enlist their help. Kalismana was on board with this and agreed to help almost immediately, as did Diego Maradona, who said that the harpers would be there and ready. Probably Greta is not so happy about this, but everyone else is glad that maybe the harpers are going to be involved one way or the other. In the meanwhile, Selsig and Urash were up trying to talk to Zephyros. Because Zephyros, although he ended up saving the party and is certainly positively disposed to the party, is not positively disposed towards Hecaton. He had been banished from Hecaton's court, and Hecaton, of course, while he was still crazy and trying to get control of his senses, accidentally killed one of the griffins. And this is the second griffin that has died dealing with this party one way or the other. And so Zephyros was very angry at Hecaton. That's not usually how Zephyros is. He's not usually in the angry sort. But Urash and Selsig were able to use their persuasive abilities and their own connections to Zephyros to convince him that they needed him to step forward, and that Hecaton was really sorry for what he did. And after careful thought about it and a couple of good persuasion rolls, Zephyros came to the conclusion and that he would help them, not for Hecaton, as he said, but for the party. And so Zephyros has committed both himself, his tower, mostly his tower, and his griffins to the cause of the party. And last but certainly not least, Greta went to find Calixis and Bella. You may remember Calixis was one of the members of Force Grey, this legendary adventuring party that had some years before been involved in a lot of high-profile rescues and combats and things like that, dealing with others throughout the Sword Coast. And so she went to find Calixis by going back to the Oracle of the Allfather. What she discovered instead when she got there was that the side of the mountain was basically avalanched over. That was not too surprising, because when they had left there the first time, an avalanche took them and Calixis then found them. But she also discovered when she went into the Oracle of the Allfather that the inside was devastated. There had been a massive combat involving rocks and boulders and lightning breath and the like. And she found the fallen body of Harshnag, who had fallen in defending the party as they made their escape, and who fought Imrith, but sadly was not able to defeat an ancient blue dragon, although he certainly made a big show of it. But his axe was found shattered on the ground next to him. And while Greta was sort of mourning this loss and trying to think about what this meant, having picked up a shard of the axe, I believe, Calixis showed up behind her and said, and greeted her. Calixis and his ice lizard Bella had been coming up to try to kind of look after what was left of Hecaton for some time now. And so Greta asked him to join the fight, and towards the end of our last session, Calixis said that he had thought his adventuring days were behind him. He is the last of Force Grey. Everyone else is gone now. And he said he thought it was behind him, but he was tired of always reacting to situations and not actually jumping forward and being proactive. He wanted to get out front for a change. And so for Harshnag and for the party, Calixis agreed to join them. And so as we pick up with the party has been joined not only by Hecaton and his 4 bodyguards, but also by Zephyros, his tower and his griffins, by Kalismana and the Harpers. How the Harpers will help is known only to the Harpers. That's kind of how they roll. I mentioned Zephyros, and by Calixis and Bella. And so I want to move us forward here just to what I would say is basically a staging ground on land where the assembled forces have gathered together. And this is, Orash, as you're standing there looking around, you notice that Kalismana is sort of looking with some admiration. And at one point, Kalismana says, using the echo machine that I totally had set up before this, and that I'm not at all stalling right now.
I just want to point out that I'm really pleased that we had a brief catch up, because I just remembered, I was like, why don't I remember this last bit? My internet completely died at the end of the last session, so I missed all of Greta's section. So I'm really pleased I caught that.
Yep, exactly. And so that led us to.
Sorry for me spamming the in-game chat. I was doing my new spell list, and I kept clicking and everything, and I'm sorry.
Okay, that's fine. So Kalismana, looking around, says, "Wow, it's quite something to see. I haven't seen an army like this assembled since, 10 years ago, probably. Tiamat had an army like this, an army that faced her and defeated her. Maybe we can do the same thing. Although, going into Imrith's lair, that's not easy even for a dragon, And that leads us back to the party. What I want the party to be thinking about here, what I want them to do, is to be thinking how they want to make this approach. So you know where Imrith's lair is, and you know the assets that you have. You have the Harpers, you have Kalismana, you have Calixis and Bella, Greta, and you have, of course, Hecaton and the 4 giant bodyguards. So those are your assets, basically. So what I want you to tell me, or to be speaking about here, I don't want us to take too long on this, but I want you to tell me, how do you want to sort of set them up? Like, what do you want them to be doing? Because you can travel to the lair, and then you can, have some people attacking while other people sneak in, or, there's all kinds of things you could do. So how do you want to approach the approach to Imrith's lair? And I'll throw that open to the party.
The way I see it, Imrith's got to know we're coming.
Yeah, there's no way she thinks we will just let her be now.
We cannot, we should not, and cannot, by Tempest's word, try and stab our enemy in the back. Having the tactical advantage, absolutely not a problem with that. Having a distraction...
Stabbing a giant dragon in the back sounds like the best way to stab it to me.
Oh, friend, we can't do that. I can't do that anyway, and I can't... It's not something It's never something I'm comfortable with. It goes against the code. Always arm your enemy, always fight from the front, never betray your enemy's family.
Flexing my rainbow rapier with the tip of my finger going, nobody said it had to be you.
Yeah, I mean, how would you feel about surrounding an enemy, and you could be the one coming from the front?
Well, I look to is Hecaton near us?
Yes, he can be. He's actually gathered around a table with his bodyguards, kind of looking.
Are we in Maelstrom at the minute? Have we gathered people at Maelstrom? Or...
No, you were outside of Maelstrom. In fact, I'll tell you exactly where you are.
I just wondered if it was thematically okay that Hecaton or someone who would know where Imrith was, because my question would be, are we surrounding a lone enemy, be it an ancient dragon or not, or does Imrith have an army that is going to face us?
So when you ask this of Hecaton shakes his head and says, "We cannot know. Ancient dragons are among the most cunning and treacherous of their creatures and their kind. Whether or not she is waiting for us with an army or just by herself, I will tell you that it is very unlikely that she would wait only on her own. As mighty as an ancient dragon is, all of us together might be enough, when fully healthy, to deal with her. My guess is that she also has minions, weapons, traps, other things at her command. We cannot assume it will only be her.
I look around. I could try to scry on her, but if I do so, it will use all of my most powerful magic.
No, I definitely don't think you want to do that. I mean, there
I
are
mean, it
others here that
depends.
could.
My experience, if you're making a lot of noise, something's gonna come and have a look. We could definitely draw some potential threats out. Who knows? Maybe that'll trigger a couple of traps on the way out.
This is war. There is no denying it. There is no escaping it. This is something we all must face. This singular doom in this desert. This is something we must fight and something we must all. And I look to not only the party members. I already know they're willing to put their lives on the line for this, but I look to everyone like who is currently around me. We must all be willing to lay down our lives for this. Some of us, myself included, may not make the return trip. But we must know that we will remove a great devious evil from this world and stop many others from losing their lives. But
we face death, but people may die, but that should never be part of the plan.
Absolutely. But it should be quick, it should be decisive, and it should end when the battle has ended, when the enemy has been removed. War should be quick and decisive. There is no point dragging it on. There is no point burning your enemies' homes or murdering their families, etc. That's not the way.
It was a mistake, okay? Sorry.
Look, you burned
Seriously.
down one person's house.
With slaves in it.
I want to know.
Well, no matter what, Imrith cannot get out in the open. It doesn't matter how many of us there are. We are not taking out a dragon in flight.
I
Well,
have
I
to
look
say,
over to River.
I have never fought a blue dragon or any dragon before. I look around because we have all these ancient beings around us. What is to expect of a blue dragon?
And so Hecaton looks and kind of sighs, and one of the giant bodyguards, Nimir, you have come to know him by, sort of waits and then says, "One does not simply walk into a dragon's lair. There is an evil there." No, just kidding. He doesn't do the Lord of the Rings thing. Instead, he says,
No, that's my shtick.
Yeah, that too. He says, "I've only ever seen dragons to fight them once. And it was a small one, an adult dragon that my lord and master King Hecaton asked us to deal with. It took myself and 3 of my closest kin. At the time, we were younger giants, but it was younger too. It was wily, cunning, slimy like a snake. It shook itself free of us when we thought we had it to ground. It burrowed beneath us, struck above. It was deadly. My closest friend that day did not survive the attack, even though the rest of us did finally put it to heel. That was an adult dragon. As for an ancient one," and he kind of looks at Hecaton. Now, Greta, have you told Hecaton and the rest what you discovered about Harshnag yet, or no?
We haven't played it, but if I had the time, I would have told everyone.
Okay. So, because Hecaton would say, "You know what happened to Harshnag. Was there a greater warrior that the giant kind had than him? And yet even he was unable to defeat Imrith." And you can see that that Calixis and Bella kind of, Bella, who always seems to be immediately responsive to the emotions of Calixis, both of them just have their heads kind of hung low. And Hecaton says, The problem is that Imrith's power is going to be even greater while within her lair. I agree with Selsig that having her take flight is going to make things immeasurably more difficult. She has breath weapons for one thing, great magic for another. She has incredibly tough armor. Each one of her claws would be enough to kill one of the little people outright if it were to hit it square. And of course, the tail could wipe out small divisions of giants if she so chose. The ancient quality of the dragon means not only that she's lived this long, but that she's somehow defeated other rival dragons in the process. That makes her especially dangerous, and especially within her lair. But I doubt that we're going to be able to taunt her out of it unless perhaps one of us is able to think of a way. Otherwise, it will require us to go down there and seek her out, to go into the snake pit and pull out the snake by its tail and rip it to pieces.
Then we go. We go. We fight. We kill Imrith. And we end this.
Do we all march in together? I mean, look, I wave around at the collection of dragons and giants and
Claudia.
Diego. And Claudia.
I don't know, this has been our journey. It seems only right that we are there when this ends. I look at Hecaton. I say, I think having a distraction to bring out any and all guards or creatures of Imrith would be a good idea. I know that this has affected you more than most, and if you want to be there when the beast falls, that's understandable. But we have rebuilt this court. We have helped rebuild this world through your absence, through actions that on our own were just the right thing to do at the right time. But hell, that's how legends go, right? And I look over to Calixtus and Bella, and I'm like, I'm sure when Force Grey were traveling, you didn't think every single action you did was going to be written down in song or be the ultimate action of a ultimate fight. You just did the right thing at the right time, right?
He sighs and he nods and he says, yes, it's true. There is one other factor, though. If I am to again bring the Ordning back to its senses, if I am to restore the giants to the way that they should be, then it needs that I will need to bring some of the other giants to heel, ones like Duke Zalto and others. I won't do that by hiding in secret. It is my intention, if we arrive there, to go to the center of the amphitheater, which is, again, at the surface of her lair, and to challenge her. Let her come out and face me. If she wishes, that will give us the opportunity that we have. Keeping her from flight, but getting her out of the open may save many lives. It may also make it possible then for some of you to go and cut off any escape routes she might have within the dungeon. Or we could use that opportunity to fall upon her as a group. I would ask her to face myself and my companions. Perhaps her ego will get the better of her. The only thing I wish not to do, even if I could fit down below, which I doubt, is to crawl like a snake on my belly through the tunnels looking for her. I want her stopped, but I must do so in a way that preserves the authority of the giants. If we can defeat her in this way, the Giants' Order will be restored.
We should definitely cut off escape routes, because I get the feeling you don't get to be an ancient dragon without knowing when it's time to abandon the area.
Yeah, we don't know. We don't know what Imrith is capable of. Obviously flight, but digging, swimming, anything like that, we don't. we don't know. Quick table question. The magical item that we got last time in regards to essentially trapping a dragon. Could you just give me a quick synopsis of that?
I remember giving you the potions, but let me see.
Claw.
It was
There was like a claw
was a
of
claw.
It
the.
had 2 uses. It had like
Oh,
one
yes.
function had 3 uses, and the other was you could sacrifice the item to ground a dragon, if I remember right.
Yeah,
Yes, yes,
like
yes.
It
A
created like
claw
an
of the worm rune.
anti-dragon,
Yep.
an
Yep.
anti-dragon like bubble
right.
basically. And I just wanted to, if you could just let us know.
Absolutely. Yes, it is a claw of the worm rune, and no, not a gavel of the Ven rune. A claw of the worm rune. Okay. A claw
So
of the worm
close.
rune.
I mean, they are indistinguishable.
So, as an action, you can point the claw at a dragon within 30 feet of you. The dragon must then succeed on a Constitution saving throw or gain vulnerability to all damage types until the end of your next turn. So, effectively, that means double damage. And that can be used 3 times, and then it cannot be used again until the next day. So that's one thing that it has. Worm Shield means that while you have it on your person, you have resistance to damage caused by the dragon's breath weapon. So there's that. And then the last one is Worm's Ward. This is what you're talking about. You can transfer the claw's magic to a place by tracing the worm rune on the ground with your finger. The point where you trace it becomes the center of a spherical area of magic that has a 100-foot radius and which is fixed to the place. The transfer takes 8 hours of work that requires the claw to be within 5 feet of you. At the end, the claw is destroyed, and the area gains the following property. While in the 100-foot radius sphere, any dragon has disadvantage on saving throws and can have a flying speed no higher than 10 feet. So, yeah, that thing is what you're talking about, the trap thing. And the only thing about that is, 1, it does take some hours to set up, and 2, it also destroys the claw of the worm room. But it's a hell of a thing because it does keep, flight from happening and all that.
Yeah.
But it takes 8 hours to put together.
I somehow feel that Imrith might not be willing to have us do that for 8 hours in her backyard. But
Not if she sees us.
I have a different idea. Sephiroth, could you load your tower with huge rocks? And if that dragon tries to take off, maybe with the help of one of the guards here, you drop big rocks on a dragon. I mean, even if you only hit one of her wingtips, that should have an effect.
And he says, does that mean that I would be a one-winged angel?
Hey, lovely.
Okay, sorry. No, he doesn't say that. One-winged angel. Oh, you know the you know the reference? It's the Final Fantasy VII Sephiroth battle
Yes,
song.
it's the other name for Sephiroth from Final Fantasy VII, the one we're
I
going to
mispronounced it again, and I'm sorry.
No, that's fine.
That's all right.
It's also the name of
I tried.
his music.
And it reminds me of my favorite game of the last year and a half, Final Fantasy VII Remake, so it's all good. So when you say that, he says, I would be happy to try, but I should say that dragons are rather more maneuverable than my tower. I'll do the best I can, of course. Perhaps my griffins could try to corral it, but although I have great admiration for my griffins, it may be difficult for them.
Nope. As we mentioned before, we don't want your griffins involved. We have lost too many of their kind, and my heart cannot take this. I cannot lose another of your griffins. They are too kind-hearted, and they're too loyal to you, and I cannot let them lay their life down. Too many people have lost their lives in service of this.
And Beaky and Claws and Squawker, all sort of, that are, of course, sitting on the ground nearby, kind of, Beaky, who, of course, is the mate of Wingding, deceased, and, of course, the mother of Ariel, also deceased,
Yes,
comes over to you and, like...
Beaky's having a hell of a time.
Yeah, Beaky's had quite a couple of months, and it sort of noses you as if, acknowledging your
I do like the cat head boop thing. Like I rest my forehead on Beaky's forehead.
Yeah, and so Zephyros nods and says, I am glad that you feel as connected to them as I do. But in any case, I will do my best, Greta, but dropping rocks on a dragon may have little effect. It's likely to be able to dodge out of the way, and it may also be able to go higher than my castle. In fact, there's a good chance it will try to take my tower down. I will do what I can to resist it, of course. I still have some power left to me, but it will be a difficult thing. And he kind of looks over at Hecaton. Now, you may remember, as I said, Hecaton and he are not really on speaking terms, although that's now mostly because of Zephyros, not, Hecaton, who feels pretty bad and has tried to apologize to him several times, even in your presence. And Zephyros is kind of like, yeah, whatever,
So, is there a representative of the Harpers here?
And you hear... So
I look around and
there's Diego Maradona next to Calismana, by the
Yeah.
way. Yeah.
I kind of catch Diego's eye and I say, what other aerial advantage do we have? I'm looking at both Diego and Calismana at the minute because Diego, is the spokesperson almost for the entire group of Harpers who, may have trained some archers in their time, and also Calismana has wings.
Yeah.
And it's a dragon.
Well, Calismana says...
a dragon.
Claims to be a dragon.
He's like, Calismana says, well, me, for one thing, I give you an incredible aerial advantage if I do say so myself. With some skill and dodging, I can lead the old crone a merry chase. Although it is true that probably Imrith may be, and he holds up a claw, slightly more powerful than me. Slightly. It's possible. And he says, but I will, of course, do everything I can to follow your instructions, and I will provide as much aerial support as need be. I wish I could get the rest of the dragons to do it, but they are still occupied. They've been recovering for the last 10 years from that whole business with Tiamat, and it's hard to get many of them to take this sort of thing seriously. And Diego says, as for our part, we will be prepared to do what is necessary. The Harpers have already sent some people ahead, and you will find that some of the ground may have been, softened up for you when you arrive. There is only, of course, so much that we can do. The Harpers are a force that works for good in secret. It is not so much about putting together armies, but we do have many who have combat knowledge and arms, and we have sent some of those ahead. It may be of value to you. We can also try to give you information that you might not possess otherwise. Advanced tactical knowledge, for instance, and that perhaps may be of some assistance to you.
I think any assistance aerial-wise would be useful, because if we can keep Imrith on the ground, we can take care of the rest. Our problem is, as soon as Imrith is airborne, we've lost the advantage, and Imrith hides behind her wings. And I say that almost with an apologetic look to Calismana. I mean no offense to your kind, but there is no honor in fleeing from a fight that you can win on the ground. If you can win it on the ground with claws and teeth, win it on the ground with claws and teeth. Don't fly above and breathe on us.
And Calismana says, well, if you're more interested in wiping out a fight than being honorable about it.
I mean, we win a fight by blowing up a tower and dropping it on a giant's head. Any advantage you can get.
Well,
Zephyros nods.
Tempest's jury is still out on the whole tower business.
You were chasing a giant down by yourself at that point, if I recall.
In a very honourable way. At least 20 feet faster than you guys were, which I didn't realise. Urash did not realise he was faster than you until that very point in time. And
we got little legs! Greatest a dwarf, I'm a halfling!
And you get there and you look around, you're like, guys, hello, everyone?
We're here to stop you.
Who's we?
Who's we? I'm like, we are, guys. Guys.
And they're like two specks on the horizon.
Yeah. Like, smack! Oh no.
Oh man.
As soon as Imrith can take off, then we're definitely at a disadvantage. If anyone or anything in this company, the Sword Coast Saviors Company, can help us keep Imrith on the ground, we can take care of the rest. I know that one way or another we can take this beast down.
Don't forget we've got these. I hold up the giant-sized potion.
Oh, I tap mine on my waist. I'm like, oh, don't you worry, friend. Don't you worry.
Saved our bacon back on the ship.
Oh yeah, that's a good point actually. I want to go over to River, and I'll fill Chai on in on this next time. But I want to go over to River really quickly and say, I know you have the giant strength potion, or rather the giant form potion, and that will suit for this fight. But I want you to have this in case you ever get in a position where, like on the boat, where you're surrounded by those who wish you harm and there aren't friends around you to protect you. And I hand her the potion of hill giant strength that I've had for a while. And I say it's of no use to me right now, and I think coming forwards it's probably not going to be used to any of us because, and I kind of tap the potion of giant form again. I'm like, but I think I've seen you in too many precarious situations. I care about each and every one of you, and I kind of poke River's shoulder very slightly in a kind of genteel way, like, you are my squishiest friend. So I'll fill Chai in on that another time, but that's what I would like to do because I have no use for that, and I don't think moving forwards we're going to have a use for that item.
Okay. So, do you have then? It sounds like you have a sort of a set approach. So you, and I guess the question I should have: those of you who are going to be traveling mostly, I think, are going to be mostly traveling with the Storm Giants. Although, is anyone going to be going in Zephyros's tower? So how many people, I guess the question is, how many people are going in the tower? How many people are going with the Storm Giants to get to the battle and to get to the lair?
As risky as splitting the party might be, Urash would like to be front and center in the fight. Like, he wants to be on the front line.
So with the Storm
if
Giants.
That's going to be, if that's going to be with the Storm Giants, absolutely fine. Not a problem with that. If you guys, if there is a better way to use the Storm Giants as a diversion so that we can then, I'd say, sneak in a side entrance, so to speak, and fight Imrith. If Imrith has guards or whatever and the Storm Giants are fighting, the army of darkness, and we can sort of sneak in and go, haha, big bad, your days are numbered, then we can do that. But at the minute, Urash, I don't think that's a thing that's going to happen.
Plan is secure, cut off the escape routes, corner Imrith.
What are our means of arriving at the amphitheater, or however it was called?
You're right.
Excellent question.
So Zephyros's tower will be able to take you. Let me just bring everybody to the eastern side of this map. So, the place in question here is hold on a second. Right around here-ish in Anarok is where you can find Arakor, which is that abandoned dwarven city. And then next to it is, let's see if I can make this look dramatic. Hold on. There we go. Let's go with this one. There we go. And Imrith's lair is roughly where I have placed the figure of said Imrith on the map. So the Storm Giants, what they're planning to do is they are planning to actually travel by to take Whale, I believe it's Whale, to actually ride whales to the Whalebone Islands and then mount rocks, big birds, ROCS, rocks, and fly the remaining way to Anarok. So that's their plan. So Zephyros's tower could also go there. You also have, of course, the Griffins, who might be able to take a few people, like one each on their back. They're not huge. They're big creatures, but they're not enormous, so they can't take giants. But they could take, for example, human creatures or humanoid. So they could take dwarves, elves, gnomes, whatever, half orcs. They could do that. Or, as I say, the tower. or obviously the giant's own method of taking these rocks. Any of those are options for you. It will all end up that you'll be approaching it from the same basic angle, which is from the southwest. So basically you'll be coming in like that.
Okay. I have Chai's character, and I would like to send River to go and ride on Talismana.
Okay.
If everybody agrees with that, because they worked together before, and I think she should be more like our weapon in hiding. I think our biggest problem will be drawing out the dragon from the lair. But on the other hand, I look at Celtic. She has been open to be taunted, apparently. So maybe we could
I'm
taunt.
not standing in front of the dragon's lair and going Nina Nina.
Maybe we could taunt. Wait, but come on, maybe we could
Who's a
taunt
big
her
blue
once more.
lizard?
There's one thing when you're trying to out them in front of a court while they're in disguise. It's another thing when they're actually a dragon.
Yeah.
Yeah, but can't you put your voice just in front of the cave and not yourself?
I can.
Where's the problem then?
Uraji's like, yeah, you know that
yeah,
thing.
That sounds like a win-win to me.
So I think that should actually be our first try to like get her out of there, without going in, because I don't want to meet a dragon with a breath, whatever element actually a blue dragon has, in a small corridor.
What?
I tap
if
the
our
I tap
dragon
the
sent a
wormroom
breath
claw.
weapon down
I'm
the
like,
corridor?
I'm fine.
That works. Dragon breath goes two ways. We have a dragon that has breath.
Boo! Should now look at Talismana, please.
And Talismana. so
And River, who also maybe has a breath weapon.
yeah, Talismana just and actually, let me see, bronze dragon, right? So let me just.
I mean, I told them.
I always thought, why do I always assume Talisman is a red dragon?
No, he's not a red dragon. No, if he was a
bronze
red dragon,
No,
we wouldn't be having
no.
this discussion.
Yes.
No, exactly.
It's the
If he was
metallic ones that are
chromatic,
nicer, isn't it?
It's the metallic are the nice guys, and the chromatic are the a-holes.
That's right.
What actually is the element of a blue dragon? I look around.
Lightning, and they say that. And Hecaton,
Everybody knows, yes.
Hecaton's is electricity. I've dealt with it before.
Electricity.
Mm-hmm.
What a weird word.
That explains all the shocking behaviour.
Hey.
Okay, give me 1 second.
Oh, I can't think of any puns. What's wrong with me? I've had beers.
where's
that's
it?
all.
Okay, so I can lure them out with a projected voice.
We should at least try.
Talismana can then breathe on anything that comes out.
Yeah.
That's a solid first step of attack, I think.
I think that, yeah, I like that one.
Okay, so I believe I'm trying to remember if it's brass or bronze. I got to check it out. But anyway, I'm going to
Bronze.
assume for a moment that it's bronze.
You said bronze.
I think it is bronze. And so so when you look over to him to do this, he goes, whew, and a little bit of electricity like plays off of one of his claws, and he says, "Imrith is not the only one who knows how to play with electricity. Perhaps she will end up being," and he leans forward, "shocked."
You stole my joke! I look at Greg.
But-
They stole my joke!
You notice, yeah, like he,
They are horrible.
Zephyros
We
and
knew that
he
before.
crack up and think this is hilarious, and like the giants are all, like staring.
I
at
just
each other.
look at Zelzig. I'm just like, no, remember, stealing is bad.
It is from me, yes!
But
And
if
that's how most people think when you go all ranger on them.
Imrith,
Oh.
There we go. The realization happened. This is really just one big intervention, Zelzig. I'm sorry.
but if
We love you. This is a safe space.
Imrith is also electricity, I would assume if you like puke electricity out of your mouth, you must be somehow immune to it. Can you actually hurt her with it?
Not very easily. I could, however, perhaps deal with her minions, assuming that she has them. They are not all going to be immune to electricity. And I have some other... and then he blows out like this puff of gas, and and the puff of gas that he blows out actually,
dude, read the room.
yeah.
Jeez.
So the puff of gas actually
Yeah.
comes close to Beaky, and Beaky's like, and like falls over. And Kalismana says, "Oh, sorry. He'll be fine in just a few seconds." And sure enough, like gradually kind of pulls together and like, you know, like pulls himself back up onto his feet. And so he says, "I don't know how
Man, I
others of my
thought-
kind will be resistant to it, but I have not one but two methods of breathing on people. And of course, my
thought-
strength, my agility, you know, those kinds of things."
I thought orcs had bad manners.
Just in case you want to demonstrate something again, please know that we are kind of protective of the griffins.
They'll be fine. And having said that, Beaky kind of was like, "Roar," like he pulls away a little bit.
I am now stood between Beaky and Kalismana. Like I'm looking disapproving at Kalismana. Like I'm not angry, I'm just disappointed.
Oh, it's fine, Urash. They need to learn a little bit. If they're going to take to the skies, they're going to face others there. Isn't that right? What's your name? Claw Feather?
Its
and-
name is Beaky.
And Beaky sort of like peering around Urash's shoulder. Roar? Like this.
Its name is Beaky.
Okay,
All
let's,
right, Beaky.
let's not fight with Callistra here. We still have to make a plan. So, but I think this is kind of we should have if we can.
Kalismana, sorry, not Kalismana. Imarith, I think, far too cunning to come charging out just because I yelled Nina Nina.
I
But
mean,
there will be a response.
yeah, if we do get the time, we should try to get around the lair at least once to look for other exits so she doesn't fall into our bag.
Can I ask a quick question in general about blue dragons?
Okay.
Are they proud creatures or are they cowardly creatures?
No, no, they're not cowards. They are very proud
They're not
creatures.
cowards.
They are most of the chromatic dragons, but especially blue dragons and especially ancient blue dragons have a serious ego.
So it's understandable then that an ancient chromatic dragon would probably fight to the death rather than go, nope, not having this in my hometown, bye.
Well, she
So
might not
it's
be
unlikely
serious.
that, well, it's probably more likely that this is going to be a case of
I bet I could get her angry
Imrith,
enough not to think
Imrith will
clearly.
want us dead more than Imrith will want to lose her home. Does that make sense?
Yes,
I,
although
I made
Imrith
I
running
made that
away.
gamble once. You remember?
Technically,
So, but I mean, maybe if Imra think it's just the three of us, the four of us.
sorry, River.
Sorry.
wow,
Wow, she's gone for 5.
already gone out of sight.
I gave her a potion. I remembered she was here.
Maybe if I'm giant size, you'll remember me next time.
Wow.
I'm sorry. I mean, if
It's okay.
maybe-
All clerics are like this. It's fine.
maybe if Imra thinks it's only the four of us, or at least like a small amount of us, because I mean, she thinks we're crazy, right? So let's try to get her out of there. Like, we are here to kick your ass, Imra.
You know,
I can come up with something.
Urash's eyes kind of light up a little bit. He's like, that's not a bad idea. It's like we go in there on our own, and suddenly, if all hell breaks loose, we have backup. And I kind of wave a hand to everybody else, and then I kind of pat the potions of giant strength. I'm like, and then we're our own backup.
Okay. Let's
I don't think this is going
Recommend
to be a
taking
clean
the
fight.
potion sooner rather than later. It got a bit dicey back on the ship.
So
I
who
don't think
goes?
this is going to be a clean fight, but I do think it's going to be an honourable one. Sorry, Greta, what were you going to say?
So Bella and
Calixtus?
Elixir.
yes, Calixtus. How will you go? I mean, Bella cannot ride a rock, right?
And Calixtus says, "I have seen Bella do a lot of things, but no, I don't think riding a rock's going to be in her wheelhouse. But you're going to want me on her back, I'll tell you right now. If you want me to be as effective in combat as I can be, you've seen a dwarf by themselves. You've seen a lizard by themselves. but you put a dwarf on the back of a lizard, that's where you've got the real force. So we
Okay.
need to get both of us there somehow.
Sephiroth,
So-
can they go in your tower?
And Sephiroth looks up and down and says, I see no reason why not. Perhaps the griffins may even find Bella here fascinating. And Bella's like, and they're like a little bit nervous about the,
Okay, so River, you can go with Callistra and
Kalismana, you mean?
Claws. So
Bargoles.
I just want to be sure there wasn't a name of someone. They're like, no, the genie that we have, Arv, like that guy, that
yeah.
one.
Yeah.
So you
this
can
guy.
go
Look,
with
there's Bottle.
Callistra and Mr. Bart here.
Okay. So River with Kalismana and Diego Maradona.
Yes.
Da-da-da-da-da. Okay.
Da-da-da-da.
I would go.
So making a bard character called Maradona now. That's my
I've
backup
never-
character for Ghost of Saltmarsh.
I'll protect you. I like a lot.
I'm either going to be shooting arrows or have like walking cannons that can set fire to things. So just be careful.
So okay. Celtic, how do you want to go?
I was thinking I'd go with Zephyros on his tower. Seems the safest route for someone like me.
Then I look at Urach. So I think we three should kind of arrive together.
That's true. I want to stick with the rest of you guys.
Okay,
my tribe.
so we three arrive together,
Mm-hmm.
and the rest of all of you, I look back. You stay back a bit. We try to taunt her out. Maybe you could scout the area a bit in case she comes out of the back door of somewhere, and then we just.
What if
If anyone could block a dragon hidey hole, I reckon a giant could probably shove a few boulders in there, right, lads?
So what about if we have so Zephyros takes us and then kind of circles a bit, I guess, trying to use some of his power against Imrith if Imrith flies. We've got Kalismana with River, because River is very powerful but very, very squishy sometimes. So she's very good at a distance with Kalismana to also prevent flying Ancient Blue Dragon. And the Harpers can lay down. I want to use the Faerunian equivalent of suppressing fire.
Okay.
But do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like suppressing fire, like archers, fighters, anything you can throw
Actual
into the
fire.
mix.
Yeah,
Yeah, actual fire.
Harper's XCOM.
Yeah,
I see what
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, and Hecaton and Hecaton's boys can go full frontal and essentially with us, just maybe not at exactly the same time as us.
Okay.
So, Sephiroth sets down Bella and Calixus,
Okay.
goes up in the air, and us goes up in the air again. Calixus and Bella try scouting around for other entries. The giants arrive on their own. Kalismana
The giants arrive on the rocks. Yeah.
Yeah, Kalismana arrives with Mr. Bard and River.
Yep.
We try to draw
Mr.
her out.
Mr. Bard
and
can do
then
what he
everybody,
wants. Yeah.
And then everybody attacks, and everybody please try to spread out, because if she hits us all at once with one of her breath attacks, we are in big trouble. So please
Yes.
don't clump together. Please, 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 please.
Okay.
Yep.
And then once she is out, we just all hit her. And if somebody can climb on her or something, that would be wonderful. If you feel up to it, climb on the dragon, step on her tail, whatever.
Okay.
Nail
So,
her to the
and try not
ground.
to die.
I don't care.
just to be clear, River on Kalismana with Kalismana and Diego Maradona. Zephyros has Calixus and Bella, who are going to be brought there and then go to scout once they
And
arrive.
us three.
And us
with-
three as well, and Urash, Selsig, and Greta.
Okay, Calixus and Bella.
So
go to
basically,
scout.
the core party is going to be Urash, Greta, Selsig, and Calixus with Bella.
Yep.
Um,
okay.
On Overwatch is going to be Kalismana and River with Diego Maradona.
Right.
Whatever if Diego decides that his
Yeah.
strengths are better somewhere else, he knows best what he
Yeah.
is best at. We don't.
Yeah, absolutely. If
Okay.
Diego's like, I've got no ranged weapons, we're just like, well then, get on the ground.
If he
Yeah.
thinks he should sing somewhere, go. do that.
Yeah, it's fine. If you
I
want,
don't
if he
know.
wants to do the soundtrack on a hill somewhere, that's that's totally
Oh,
understandable.
he knows his
Um,
skills best, so he should use his skills as he
and
thinks.
main infantry will be Hecton and boys, and also Harpers.
Okay, so right, and they're going to arrive on their own on the rocks, right?
Yes.
Hecaton,
And however the Harpers are going to arrive,
Hecaton.
I haven't thought that far forward.
Bodyguards.
Maybe they can share a rock or something.
Do we know rough numbers of Harpers? Is it like, oh, it can spare a dozen men, or is it like, oh, we have a platoon, or 2,000?
Not
This
2,000.
is the Harpers we're talking about.
Yeah, not 2,000.
Wow, that's it.
It's gonna be 4 drunk people or something.
No,
It's going to be 3 wizards and a bard.
but it might be it might be between 10 and 15 that might be concealed.
Okay.
It's interesting. There was at one point a more powerful archers contingent of the Harpers that was manned largely by members of the Emerald Enclave, which was a group of elves in the forest. But that enclave ended up falling during the rise of Tiamat, and many of those elves were destroyed. So a lot of those archers have been reduced in power, so they don't have as many as they might have had based on previous events.
I blame the hoppers.
If you blame the Harpers. Okay, so Hecaton and the 4 bodyguards. Okay, all right, that sounds good. In that case, are you folks ready to go?
Yep, I think so. Actually, I just want to ask a question.
Sure.
Well, actually, I'd like to ask 2 questions. I'd like to ask a question of Hecton. Is Sarissa coming with us?
No. Sarissa I must leave behind, and she is not happy about it. But I must have her
that's
ruling
fine.
the way she has been, because as things come about, it may be that there will be others who strive to take over while I am away. And she has already proven the wisdom of my choice in making her the principal one in charge of what we do here.
Okay, so first things first, I have a tendency to throw myself in dangerous situations with little care for my own safety. I don't suppose you have any healing potions lying around, do you?
So he kind of looks around and sort of discusses with several of them.
Or anything that would keep me alive, I'll put it that way.
So let's see.
Do you have any more of them shiny rocks?
Make a persuasion check for me, please. This isn't so much resisting.
Aww.
This is a result of the fact that they've already given you like one of their
don't even
great
know what I
weapons
rolled.
and potions. he's like,
That's a no. That's a definite no.
unfortunately, Urash, I wish I had more, but our treasury is already dangerously drained. There is very little in the way of healing potions that we possess, and truthfully, giants most of the time prefer to heal through natural means. I am sorry. I wish that I had something more. But those giant potions would act almost the same way. It will increase the total of health that you have, as Selsig himself has encountered in person.
Okay. I'd like to. Is Sarissa present at the moment?
No, Sarissa's
Table
back in
talk?
Maelstrom. I mean, if you wanted
Okay.
to, I guess if you would want, well, I don't know if you would have had
Can
a
we do
chance
a
to say
flashback?
anything to her. Yeah. You can do a flashback.
Is that all right? Cool. Flashback real quick. So basically, this is something that did happen that just for contingency's sake, I'd like to have approached Sarissa and asked her to, if I don't return, I'd like you to take this to a special someone for me, and I take off. Is it our Statska's necklace?
Yes.
The half ogre that I met,
Right.
and promptly fell in love with. So our Statska. Now you're gonna have to remind me. Was this in? This was on the King's Road, wasn't it? Was this?
It was on the King's Road.
in,
Yep.
Yep. When we caught the weevil.
Yes.
Someone's keep. Somebody's keep where we call the Weevil. Oh God, why?
I don't remember
why
which
can I
the
not
keep
remember
was,
this?
but it was dealing with the Weevil.
I've been around.
wanna say
Cologne, started
Xanthal's
looking
Keep.
at the map.
It
just
might be
looking at the
Xanthal's
map,
Keep. Hold
I'm
on. Xantharl's Keep.
Yeah,
Tharl's
I've
Keep.
got it on my map. Just,
Excellent.
That's the one.
Well, that's the only thing I can see that has keep on it. So I'm just like, well, that's on the King's Road, and that's a place we went to. I'm sure it was there.
Yep.
Where we had our little like Helm's
Arzastra
Deep
was
moment.
the person who.
Zastra.
You know.
I say, if whilst I know Tempest will watch over me, Tempest's plan does not always involve coming back from a war. If I don't make this, I would like you to give this to the half-ogre maiden at Xanthal's Keep and ask her to watch over the Nashsky family in Palashuk. We've spoken about it a couple of times in the past, and, well, they are my kin, so that's all I can ask of you.
And Sarissa kind of nods and says, I will do what I can, but I would ask that you watch yourself carefully and come back on your own. It will be a much duller world, I think, if you and your companions have left it. But I give you my word that if for some reason you do not return, I will do what I can to find this person.
I thank you, and if I know that both Artuska and my family are taken care of, I know that I can give my all in this coming fight. And if that means all of me, then that means all of me. And if it doesn't, then I can return. I can retrieve this necklace and I can save my people from the terror that they endure. So I thank you for this.
And she nods and she says, Be well, Urash, and strike a blow against these dragons.
Cool. Fast forward.
Okay, so flashback out of the way, unless anyone has anything else that they wish to do. I'm going to jump us forward to the approach. Before I do that, I do want to reset for just a moment because we have about an hour left, and I want to welcome everybody to episode 275 of Pen and Pixels with I am your host, Arvin Eleron, and this is the amazing D&D with GOG crew that you see below you, or below me on the column, Pyron J, Darksaber 2K, Peripheral Mike, and not with us today, Tasty Chai, but will, I hope, be with us for ArvCon, which is going to be coming up in a couple of weeks on my channel, during which you will see the epic conclusion of this adventure. So if you like what you see in here, please follow us here on GOG.com. Please make sure to sub to us here on GOG.com as well. And please check us out on our individual channels as well, because we have our own Patreons and subsystems and stuff like that. And and make sure that you check GOG.com for all the latest Dungeons and Dragons titles and things like that, and stuff that can recapture a little bit of the feeling of spending an evening with Pyron, Saber, Mike, and Chai. Okay, with that said, let's jump forward here. So everyone heads off in their various ways. And I want to bring us to this place. And I'm going to bring us to what will be, that's right, the final map.
During the approach.
Oh, no, never mind. No one saw that.
I didn't actually because I closed.
No one saw that.
I did see nothing.
Okay, good.
You did see that.
And then I looked over at stream and I saw nothing. I promise. I looked back again.
Still don't
So-
look.
Okay.
I don't know
Don't
why
look.
it's-
Don't look.
Okay, I don't. So, but during the approach, Greta will approach her companions that are in the tower.
Mhm.
And so you might know from previous fights that I can give a very special blessing to one of us. A blessing that will still be working even if I should go down. This is the blessing that will protect you from death once. And I'll look at the two
Arash
of
gets it.
But you're more squishy and you know it.
Arash dies more, and we know it.
Okay. Then as soon as Mike is back, Urash will receive a death ward. It's not a concentration spell, it's just kind of a blessing.
Okay.
I'll mark it off my list. There goes the first level 4 spell.
Alrighty. Let's see. Okay. Very cool. All right. All right. So you're able to do that, and that leads us to this. And now you're able to look at the stream. That's fine. Sorry. What happened was I was making a couple adjustments earlier today, and I must not have put it back to full dark GM opacity. Again, this will not be an issue with Saltmarsh, but yes. And I'm gonna wait for just Mike to get on here and put the headphones on so I can describe this, because this place is Well, impressive.
I'm sorry. I need to do a bio break before we do this because I'm getting really nervous here.
Okay. Go ahead and make your bio break, and I will reveal more of this place. Okay.
You've already revealed all of it.
Yeah, I did, accidentally. I mean, actually, the truth is that I probably should reveal most of it, and I'm going to. It just struck me, because this is all on the surface, so I actually am going to,
What did I miss?
reveal much more of it. I just accidentally showed some of the map that I wasn't supposed to show. And I
Oh,
was
and you're death warded.
yes, you've been...
And
yes,
Death Ward. Oh,
you've been Death
fantastic.
Ward.
So Death Ward is like
Extra
relentless
life.
endurance, correct? Yeah, extra life. Yeah.
Well, extra,
Within-
not killed the first time.
Yeah.
It's not like he goes back up whoop, to 100 hit points.
What was it? It goes back up
No.
to 1 HP if I remember the,
Yeah,
the
so if
ship
you're not-
encounter.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like Barbarian's relentless endurance. So if I'm knocked to 0
Yeah.
HP, I don't go to 0 HP. I just go to I immediately go back to 1 HP.
How many
So I
times
kinda
did
like-
you go down to 0 and come back again during that fight? Was it like 3 times?
On the ship,
On the ship,
is this before or after I turned to stone?
including.
Including 3, because I went down once with Death Ward, and then I went down once with Relentless Endurance. I went very, very close before I got turned to stone, and then got turned to stone.
Which might have saved your life, ironically.
With the fact that there was giant King Hecaton just flailing around on that
true.
ship, and I'm just like, I'm made of stone. I'm
Or
made
she's like,
of
right, I'm
stone."
back. What have I made? Oh, crap.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I wasn't even back. I was just like, I was already making a new character at that point. I was like, this is not going to end well. I've seen Hercules. This isn't going to end well.
It almost didn't go well, as you all know.
I'm just
it was-
glad
it was
Hecaton
rough.
didn't focus on the actual giant that was there with him. It's like, you betrayed
Yeah.
me.
Yeah, exactly. So Winged Icaro, well, he blamed the little people. Like, so he was just like, so the way you
Luckily, I
not being a
wasn't.
little person, he was kind of like, whatever, like, So Winged Icaro, there's a couple of people in chat who said that they're actually running this adventure themselves. So first of all, welcome. I'm glad that you're here and watching. The party in chapter 2, actually, there was a lot that
years ago.
happened in chapter.
Oh my! What was chapter 2? There are chapters.
It was
I remember Alf telling us this was like a branching adventure with lots of options on where to go and what you
Right.
can do.
I do remember near the beginning he was like, and now it's like Assassin's Creed where all the mini missions just kind of pop out.
Yep.
And we ignored most of those.
Well, some of them you did. I mean, you did a fair number actually. Like the Weevil was frankly not, like straight on. We'll talk about some of this during the post-mortem session afterwards. But like, I mean, there were a lot of things that they did in Tribor. They did with stuff in Red Larch. They dealt with this keep. There was a giant attack on the keep while they were there that they had to deal with. When they ended up going at one point to get the artifact from, I think, the Ice Barbarians. They dealt with the Raven Barbarians that were on the backs of the Ravens that they had to fight. Those giant Ravens as well. They ended up having, there was a whole section where they found an ancient dragonborn race, basically just a bunch of ghosts that spoke with River about different aspects of her past and about, her knowledge of them and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, well, they're not on speed dial. It's not quite how that
Let's
works.
rope them in. We need an army.
We went to a ball, as Pirate pointed out.
Well, that's true, but that was part of the main, the sort of central thing. So this is when you went off into Assassin's Creed. So the answer is they kind of went in several different places, Winged Icaro. I will say that if you're interested in finding out more, you could check out my Pen and Pixels playlist on my YouTube channel. And if you go to that, I have all of these saved, literally going all the way back since the beginning of Pen and Pixels, which is like, I think 5 years ago, which is really disturbing to me that I've been doing this long on GOG.com alone. But I've been streaming for 9 years, God help me. But anyway, so yeah. You can go there and you can find the information about it. We also had different players. There is also an audio podcast, which has just been made by our good friend Fleos and sometime participant in this campaign. And you can go do that. If you put in ! I think it's podcast. You should see a link that you can also use to catch up in audio form, which goes all the way to the beginning of the campaign. And there are many hours of entertainment that await you if you go that route. So, yeah.
There was a campaign before I joined.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah. You
What?
and Shy. I know.
Well, it started at
Absolutely.
ArfCon, didn't it? With what was originally a one-shot.
That's right.
Yep, it started with ArfCon,
And then everyone
we had Chrono Wolf with his voice compressor there.
That's
who
right.
went
With
like,
a roar, roar,
"Whoa."
roar. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it was funny, and yeah, and it was interesting to kind of see where it came from and where it ultimately went to. And the one shot mostly just continued because afterwards I didn't even have to say anything yet. I actually was like, "Well, everyone did a great job," and I forget who it was like, "Can we play more? Can we play again?" I'm like, I
So,
twist
same
my
time
arm.
next week,
like,
eh?
Yeah, I was like, twist my arm. Like, I mean, so. And then it became like this. So, yeah, and as it turned out, GOG.com was generous enough to allow us to stream it on this channel for all of you lovely people. So, okay, with that said, so the party, right, I'm getting myself caught up on where we were. Okay, so here we go. So you were heading to Imrit's Lair, and I realized that there was more that I could reveal. What's up, Perrin?
I would like to inform Uraj about the Death Ward.
Oh, yeah, okay. We mentioned just briefly, but yes.
Okay, because I didn't know if you talked about it while I was away.
Thank you so much for that.
Okay.
All right, so I am going to reveal a bunch of the map because I realize that this is on top. It's going to look more impressive. I apologize. Please ignore the numbers to the extent that you can. Okay. I give to you Imrit's Lair.
I'm liking the look of those trebuchets.
Okay. Your long journey ends here in the desert. A churning cauldron of black clouds fills the sky as thunder peals and lightning flashes, and in fact, it's no longer before the storm, it's during the storm. So let's get, how about this? Does this work? Give me some music, Kevin MacLeod. No, not good enough. Let's make, how about this? This is good to start out, yeah. It's a little creepy and ominous.
I literally have the Avengers theme tune on, like the
That
end
works too.
game music on in the background as well. I know
A
we can't play
churning
that, but-
cauldron of black clouds fills the sky as thunder peals and lightning flashes. Half buried in the cold dunes is a crumbling amphitheater adorned with statues, many of them broken, the rest worn smooth by wind and sand. 2 large trebuchets stand atop the ruins. Where cheers once rang out across a great city, now a solemn fortress stands before you, waiting for you to draw near. Now this storm, in case you're curious, stretches 6 miles in every direction. And it reminds you somewhat, actually, of the storm, except that storm was much smaller, that was above the ship that you might remember that you had to go to get King Hecaton out. It's like a very similar storm, but a hell of a lot bigger. And so as you are all sort of flying in, River on Kalismana, Kalismana says, sort of shouting, to be heard over the sound of the wind whistling by him, "There it is! I hope you like the look of it. I suppose that this was the most dramatic thing that Imrith could come up with. Have something on a stage for her ego, I suppose. Let's see whether or not we can crash the stage, shall we?" And he dives down with River like holding on frantically, a silver dragonborn and a bronze dragon swooping down towards the ground. Not right up to the amphitheater, but closing in on that. In the meantime, there is somewhere else you see creeping through the dunes, having arrived through ways known only to themselves, are a series of cloaked figures, but these are not cloaked in dark cloaks. In fact, if you didn't know they were there, you wouldn't probably see them. They are cloaked in sand-colored cloaks, and so they almost look like, if you were to look right at them, sort of sand moving across the dunes. But they are not those things, and between one of them, peering around before, hey, forward, left and right, is Diego Maradona and his harpers who creep in around the outside of this structure. Meanwhile, the Zephyros is going to arrive slightly before the giants do. And so from your position in the tower, Zephyros points down and says, "Ah, there. You see? The amphitheater. Once part of a great dwarven city, and now part of Imrit's final stand. Or I hope we call it that in the end. All right. I hope that everyone back there is ready. Beaky, Claus, Squawker, Ariel. Oh, that's right. Not Ariel. Beaky, Claus, and Squawker. Are you ready?" And the griffins, as if seeming to understand, "Roar!" You know, they all seem like chomping at the bit. You know, they're ready to go. I like that you're all like, you're not going to do anything about it. But you are standing, Greta, Selsig, and Urash, on the bridge with him as the setting sun just sort of catches over the light of this ominous-looking place. Now, as you're sort of beginning to touch down or head towards the ground, I should say, you can see from a distance that there are also 5 small figures that are almost specks at first, but rapidly approaching. And as they get bigger and bigger, you can see that this must obviously be Hecaton and his giant bodyguards that are approaching. And they kind of get to and then swoop around the tower and then get down and land on the ground. And if you also touch down at a decent distance. I assume you didn't want to bring the tower up and try to land it in the middle of the amphitheater, but tell me if I'm wrong. Assuming you didn't want to do that, then you're going to land from a little bit of a distance. And what you see in front of you basically is what you'll be able to do. There are it's not really much of a spoiler to say that there are multiple stairs and things like that down into the inner workings. Who knows what exactly she's got down there, Imrith has down there. But there are a couple things that are notable to you that I want to point out. First of all, on the bottom right over here, there are a set of tents and a campfire, it looks like, with smoke rising from it, which seems odd. You don't know what that is, but it's something that you note from a distance. The second thing is there's this, which basically is sort of an open area that has walls around it. Maybe one point this was a place where perhaps soldiers might get ready before walking out in the amphitheater. But in any case, the walls and the roof are fallen, and now it's just kind of this few walls standing, but otherwise the roof is broken down structure. Then there's the amphitheater itself with these trebuchets that I mentioned that are on the right and the left. And these are enormous. Like, they're bigger than the ones on the ship that you saw before. These are big sized trebuchets. And there's this, which looks almost like some kind of a sinkhole or a pit leading down somewhere that you can see. And then there are various like hills mounted up, like you can see 10 feet of sand, 20 feet, 30 feet, 40 feet of sand. And the sand blows back and forth a little bit. But I do want to remind everyone, this is really a colder desert, especially in the evenings when it's heading towards. Not a hot desert. So it is sand, but it's sort of a gritty and fine sand. And it's as much like... when it gets cold, it'll feel as much like you're being pierced by icicles as it is like, the heat of the day that you might expect from like a typical desert. And so, so the giants touch down, as does the tower. Hecaton and his 4 bodyguards get off the rocks. And you see that Hecaton is just, he is arrayed completely. I think I'll just show you again the picture that I've been showing all the way along. Right, this is Hecaton with his white beard. He has a long sword. He has a flowing cloak behind him. He's got armor for days, so it seems. He looks every bit the true leader of the Storm Giants. And I guess we'll see whether or not that turns out to be true. So the question I have for the party is there anything that they want to sort of think about before moving in? Because otherwise the giants are prepared to basically, march forward and head on in.
Very quickly before we land, I want to go to Beaky specifically.
Okay.
And I want to do the whole kind of forehead to forehead thing with Beaky. And I just want to say, we're going to make this right.
And he kind of bumps you back and closes his eyes. And at one point, you think you feel like a feathered wing, kind of almost like pat you on the side of the head, maybe. But maybe that's just your imagination.
Yeah.
But
and then I separate, nod to Beaky, and leave.
Okay.
Which way are the trebuchets facing? As in, which way would they be attacking if fired?
At the moment, they look as if they are focused right towards the center, basically, of this place. But they also look, although it's hard to tell completely, as if they're on the back ledge here. So they could be theoretically, if there's someone there to pilot them or to operate them, they could be moved left or right. Like they could be shifted. They look like they could shoot a pretty long way, if you had to guess.
Mm-hmm. That's a trebuchet for you.
Yeah, and you can see there are also multiple on these stars that you see here. Each one of these is a gargoyle, all just sort of standing there like this.
Like
I'm
like
pretty
a
sure they're
statue?
just normal gargoyles standing there the whole time, never doing a thing. So we shouldn't worry about them.
Haven't we seen
Like
those
a
stars
gargoyle
before?
statue, or
Remember my Indiana Jones moment?
yes.
I'm sure they were the
Yes,
same
I
star
do.
pedestals.
Yes,
Now,
they were.
Didn't that also have moving statues?
I also see like Arv feeling the need of putting things there.
I mean, I just wanted you to feel immersed in the experience of,
Yeah.
I'm
So that's
sure
fine.
chat
So-
knows that this is fine, right? I'm sure this is fine.
Yeah.
so just as we are on approach,
Played
these
enough Dark Souls
gargoyles-
to know how this is going.
Yeah, you and me both, brother. Do you just kite one towards you? Okay. Do these gargoyles, are these like sentient, or are these like statues? As in not
One
like
way to
are
find
they
out.
sen- like,
I was gonna
do they-
say, like-
do they seem sentient? Like, are they like
Are they turning
of
to look
talking
at
to
us
each-
is what he's angling for.
yeah? Are they like talking to each other like, look who's coming this way? It's the heroes of the Sword Coast, all this sort of thing? Or are they just like, oh, flying tower? That's unusual for a Tuesday. Or are they just like,
Let's see. Let me have you
Their
make...
expression could only be described as stony.
If two of them are playing chess even very slowly, then we would be very suspicious.
Exactly. Let me have you make a perception check, Mike, for me, please. Sorry, not Mike. Who the hell's Mike? Or Ash, I mean.
I'll make a perception. My perception is far better. No, actually, I take that back. My perception is not as good as Urash's. Not after nearly 2 liters of beer. There you go.
Well,
I mean, would it be reasonable
Although-
to say we're all looking because we're scouting the area?
Although,
Yes, if Urash were to say, what do you think about those gargoyles? Like, if you wanted to do that, you could definitely, that would be fine to kind of notify people that you're interested. I would say at the moment, though, Urash, you're just like, I mean, they look part of the structure, maybe?
gargoyles, I guess.
I look over.
Okay.
What?
looks like a gargoyle to me. I would agree.
Gargoyles, yeah, gargoyles.
Those pedestals look familiar.
Yeah, and I think this is a good example. I think Greta, Greta, I think also you would think that it's hard to tell. They're just gargoyles.
Looks like gargoyles.
But 100% though, Celsig, what you said about the pedestals is the thing that you note, where you're like, now the thing I do want to point out is when you found the situation with the pedestal, I believe that was in the Oracle of the Allfather, which is run by the Giants, not by Imrith and Company. So I don't want to make this like a 1-to-1 thing, but you definitely notice that there is a difference between some of the shape and color of these statues and the surrounding like sandstone basically that they're sitting on. So they stand out a little bit, which doesn't mean that they could not have been made. This was originally dwarven, so it's quite possible that dwarves would have the craftsmanship and the ability to do this. But
can do all the things.
It isn't like it was just carved full out of, you know what I mean, out of the same stone. So the statues had to be moved in here in some way at some point. Whether it's by the dwarves or someone else, you don't know. But it's definitely the case that they are not like originally part of the material of this place.
Not local to the area.
Mm-hmm.
They're not made of the same stone as everything else.
That's okay. Sometimes you use other kind of stones for decorative reasons because it looks better.
Quick note as well as we're looking at combat scenarios here. Because you are planning to fight somebody here. When you do that, these ones right here, these mounds of sand, are difficult terrain for large and smaller creatures, i.e., all of the party members. So all of them, all of you are going to have difficult terrain as you're getting through these mounds of sand. You can use the mounds of sand to climb up to various things, like this can lead you up there, but just be aware that they are, you know, they're difficult terrain, so it's going to slow you down as you try to do so. And I should also say that each square here is 10 feet. So this is big.
Jesus, this is huge.
Yep.
This is no joke, people.
The openings, like the oval openings, are they big enough to let a dragon through?
Which ovals do you mean? Do you mean here, like there?
Yes.
Yes. It looks like, because that's about 20 feet wide. It looks like, I mean, a dragon the size of Imrith, if it's anything like the dragon that like came because Imrith, you know, crashed through when you were dealing with Harshnag at the Oracle, she'd have to like squeeze. But yeah, you do think it would be big enough. And certainly this thing here would be big enough for sure.
Yeah, well, I assume that would be like the dragon landing hole. So, but...
the helipad, if you will.
Yes,
Yeah.
the dragon pad. Like, please fold your wings and drop
There's just
down.
a big D on the ground.
Yep, exactly.
So, but considering Imrith, I don't think she would like to squeeze if she could avoid it. So, maybe it's only because like reading goes from left to right, but I would say we come in from left to right because it would also give us the possibility to hide in here if needed. How does everybody else feel about that?
Hide. Yeah, I see what you said. It's called.
Because then we could maybe hide there and, well, at least we could get back there and maybe scream into 1A first.
What about the Mystics camp? Can we see any sign of movement?
From where you are, like when you were landing like in the sky, you could not. You did see some smoke trailing up from the fire though. So, but you did not see any movement otherwise.
Some smoke over there.
Yeah, but I'm not sure. Either they are with Imrith, then we should maybe stay away from them, or they are not, then trying to evacuate them now would maybe do more harm than good.
They might have already seen us landing.
Well, then that's the thing then. But still, let's get in there and try to draw Imrith out. Let's get it rolling, because waiting and giving her more time will not make things better.
I don't trust those gargoyles.
Why?
Something
Because they're
off.
definitely going to come alive.
It just seems a lot of effort. I don't see any other matching stone. It seems a lot of effort. Where did it come from?
So,
Dwarves,
Christopher, do you mean...
From what I've seen of dwarves, they usually use the materials they have to hand. It's kind of I thought it was a point of pride for them, from my understanding.
If we want to make things extra special, pretty, we do import stone.
How did it get here?
Arash is just like, why are we talking about stone?
Remember the Temple of the All-Father?
Yeah, well, okay, yeah.
Remember the statue? And the boulder, and the running, and the screaming?
Well, even
Probably going to come to life.
Whee! Hello there.
That's Hecaton. It's fine.
Okay.
Why are you worried? Everything's okay. We're fine here. How are you?
Suddenly, Sand Giant.
Suddenly, Decepticons everywhere.
If they come alive, we cannot stop them from coming alive. At least I don't know how we could. So
We have backup, right? That's what they're here for.
come on.
If Imrith has minions, even if those minions are... How tall are these gargoyles?
The gargoyles are
guess?
probably, I'm guessing about 7 feet in height, but let me double check, because I want to double check. They may be a little bit too
6-7 feet.
I may be wrong about that though. Hold on. Let me.
I'm not.
So 2 cells, 6
I'm
or
thinking. Well, when you said that these squares were 10 feet each, I'm just like, wow, those are big gargoyles.
Yeah,
Like,
that was
they
just to
are.
kind of make them stand out.
Yeah, no,
Okay.
I
No, they're
completely
not that
understand
big.
but in
They're
reality,
medium, so it'd be more like 6, but they're still like 6'5".
So about 6 feet.
Yeah.
So like humanoid shape, sort of like
Yes.
they go toe to toe with a human,
That's
sort
right.
of thing, a big human.
They'd be a match
Um,
for you, Urash, I would think. Maybe a
yeah.
little shorter, but it wouldn't be like,
Right. Okay, so we have backup for Imrith's minions, whatever shape that may take. So this is what we prepared for, right?
Let's do this.
Cool.
Let's
We weren't
draw
charging in
some,
recklessly.
Okay. So,
Okay,
I want to
let's do
scout
this.
I want to scout that smoke I saw first.
I think that's a
Know
good
your
shout.
surroundings.
I think that's a good shout. This weird amount of tents.
What happens if we
here.
need to run that way and it's like, oh, hello, things that eat your head?
Oh, hello. Do you remember me? I'm the wizard from the ship that you nearly killed.
He never did account for his body.
No, I know. That's what worries
I
me.
okay.
He doesn't look like somebody who would be willing to live in a tent in the desert, but okay, let's have a look.
Maybe that's his punishment for losing Hecaton.
Well, then they are really nice people, aren't they?
Okay.
Just,
other-
I
the
want to have a
other-
look at
the
it before
other-
it gets set on fire.
The other guy
Mystics
died
camp.
just for talking. I don't want to know what they do to people who lose a giant king.
So
Come on.
Mystics Camp. We're gonna go check out Mystics
Get
Camp.
going, get going.
Okay, so here
Have
we
we
go.
actually landed, or are
Now
we
you've
still
landed,
circling?
yes.
Landed. Where did we land? Like just south
like
of this.
just out exactly, just outside of the map.
Okay.
Like I assumed over
Cool.
like here-ish, like right there. I
I don't know what
assumed.
oh yeah, cool. That's fine. Well, yeah, if we can easily get to Mystic Camp, like that would be
That's-
amazing.
Yeah.
Because I think
I
even if it was a
probably
case
can.
of as we were landing, like if we were to land like just south of Mystic's Camp, like that would be fine, and then we'd approach it. But I
And
think
that would-
that's.
Yeah, no, sorry.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say that would probably make the most sense in regards to like there's this big ass amphitheater in front of us with lots of gargoyles on it, this weird hole in the middle of the ground, and then out of nowhere 3 tents and a fire. Like there's something fishy going on there. Like whether it's something important or not, I'm not sure, but that feels like we'd probably land south of that point, kind of out of sight, maybe past a dune or something like that, or some sort of sandstorm, maybe if we could get as much cover as possible and then make our way towards that. Does that make sense to everyone?
I want to turn to any of the I'm going to just NPCs for convenience sake, refer to them as that. Just keep an eye on those gargoyles. There's something's not right. My gut is screaming at me about them.
And Hecaton says, I think it makes sense for us to draw the fire of them while you do what you need to do. Let us march towards the center. Let us call out Imrith if we can. Let us draw whatever attacks they have upon us while you need to do what you need to do with this camp.
Wait for some signal for now because we're gonna walk over to the smoke first. I can. What is the reach of this?
I can raise some dancing lights.
Yeah, but how far can you raise them?
That's a good question.
Jump back here so I can pick up your
Okay,
text.
I can shoot up a sacred flame 60 feet, so that should hopefully be something be seen.
Okay. Just give me 1 second whilst I get this.
120
addressed.
feet.
Okay, then you do this. we're gonna shoot a light into the sky once we're ready.
Okay. I'm just gonna capture those. Copy.
4 torch-sized lights.
Okay, back to here.
But of any color, you could make them pretty.
There you all are. So I think now you have control over. Just make sure that you can control your various people.
Okay, hold on.
You see it over there to the west.
Oh yeah, oh god, time.
Yeah.
There we go. I'm gonna have
Yep.
to zoom this
Rush
back in.
goes,
Hang on.
I am considerably smaller than the giants,
You would
understandably.
have to
I'm just
give-
like, charge to open to 2.
You would have to give me control of River, and River will not be with us.
Right. Okay.
Yes, River not played at the moment, but River / Kalismana.
There we go. I've
River is
given
on Overwatch.
temporary
Okay,
control.
thank you. I'll just put her in the upper right corner for now.
Whoa, where'd you put her? Oh, I see.
In the upper right corner.
Put her. Actually, do me a favor, Parn, and put her back
Yes.
here, just so that I can remember where she is going with stuff.
I lost her. Wait a minute. There. You scroll.
Okay, cool. That's fine.
Zoom.
For a minute, I thought you put her under a gargoyle. I'm like, what? It's like, so it's been an interesting session. You are destroyed by gargoyles. Okay.
Okay.
So, okay, you are all going to make your way now. So you're trying to do this quietly, right? I assume, while the giants wait.
Yes, of course.
Okay.
Wait, not gonna lie, Celsig's contemplating if he should even bother trying to sneak, considering the party's track record in this regard.
Hey, I am
Well-
trained in the way of stealth, friend.
I sneak.
It's the wrong
Like,
way, but
really?
it's trained in a way.
No.
Ah,
If you remember the Eye of the Allfather, I was checking for traps. I was unlocking doors.
Yes.
I was basically a trained ninja by that point. I mean,
I was running away from a
yeah,
boulder
I
with a
mean, my
toboggan.
methods were questionable, but the results were there.
Let's stealth over there.
I
All
was
right, go ahead and
entirely
make-
sidelined on that adventure.
So go ahead then and make
I
your stealth
Yes.
roll, please.
Why
There.
not?
15. There. I stealth.
Why not?
30.
30 stealth? What does it even mean? I don't even know how to contemplate.
30?
Stealth's like, I can't see my hand. I can't see my own hand.
How many? I can't
That's not
see
even a
the
crit.
world.
God, a 30. What in the name?
30. I got
I'm getting a feeling I may have miscalculated this character somewhere along the line. I'm not sure. It was my first
Plus
character.
18
You got
is a bit
min-max this
insane.
character.
Yeah, that is like, good lord.
Plus 18 is a bit insane. Just
Yeah.
no plus
It's
12.
plus
is it?
12.
Plus 12.
Plus
Plus
12.
That's still
12.
insane. Just a
That is
tiny.
just, I'm surprised chat can even see you. Like, they're just chat's like, what? Where'd Saber go? You could
Who?
yell stealth and nobody would notice. Yeah, exactly.
Celtic
Yeah.
just gliding over the sand like, whee, and it's gone.
He's literally like Celtic, like literally screaming at us, and we're just like, "Did you hear something?" No, I didn't hear
I didn't hear
anything.
anything. Okay, so you can all make your way over. Now, as you're all making your way over this way, wait, hey, now let's.
Yeah, that's okay.
you're like,
I'm
let's
stealthing
just,
so
I'm
well,
just
let
jumping forward in the narrative. No. We're gonna be a little slower than that because as you go along and you pass about this point, I would say, all of you get a strange prickling sensation, maybe on the back of your neck. I'd like everybody to make perception checks for me, please.
Reception.
I'm concentrating on my stealthing. I cannot look around now.
Exactly.
That's audience of those statues was evil.
Also, Urash, you're not in the middle of that 20-foot pile of sand, are you?
I'm not in the middle of the table pile. Where am I? I don't
You're
even
right now,
know.
you
I'm not in the
appear
middle
to
of
be
the
in the
table
middle of the 20-foot
pile.
pile of
I'm
sand.
I'm like
Okay,
there. at
that's
the
fine.
minute. Sorry.
So make sure. That's okay.
It's because I was farting around earlier saying, I jump into number 2.
Okay, I got you.
There we go.
Okay, so yes, Greta, you're as you said, you're concentrating on your stealth. You're
Actually, I
like,
just checked the rules. That is not insane because expertise gives me double proficiency on 2 skills of my choosing.
No, for a level 9 to have 30 stealth is not unusual. That I was just saying,
Yeah.
like I'm just like, wow. That's
No, I was
impressive.
just clarifying because it was nagging that I may have
No,
added a stat
I'm
wrong.
sorry, no.
No, that's true. So
No, man, you
so
were
you're
good at what you
fine.
were good at.
Selsig and Urash, you know, as was said in chat by Triffid, by the pricking in my thumb, something wicked this way comes. Something feels weird to you. And Urash, as you look up, this one right here, you swear it. You sort of look and you think you see it go, like in your direction. Now it doesn't do anything. It doesn't crawl out. It doesn't jump. It does nothing. You thought you saw that. When you look back, you're not even sure. This music is so good for this.
It's got me on edge.
I lean over to Celtic. I think that gargoyle just stared at us.
Stared at you. I'm really sneaky.
How can you even see me?
Yeah. I tend to Greta. I'm like, have you seen Celtic? Where is Celtic? How could he abandon us? Okay.
Insane.
Is there?
It is the same thing as always. We go somewhere, Celtic is there. It is his thing.
Gargoyles are gonna try and kill us.
I pop up between them.
Just
I am everywhere.
Do you really? Oh man, I'm so tempted to have people make checks. I won't. I'll be good this time. I was so tempted to be like, make a Constitution saving throw. Okay.
we just go over there now.
Okay. So on you
How
go. So you
easily-
notice that.
Firstly,
Yeah, sure.
Firstly, right. How are on the map? Are these rocks close by? Like they're like 10, 20, 30, maybe 30 feet away?
Yeah,
Right?
from you, I would say. From Celsig, there may be
Are these
10
like
feet.
I could jog towards them and hide behind them? Or are these like just pebbles on the ground?
No, they're not pebbles. They're good size, like rocks and fragments. And presumably you could do that. Actually, if you want to jog over next to that rock, you could do that, Urash. Are you going to do that?
Okay. Now that Celsig has appeared between us and Greta is nearby, I'm going to tap them both on the shoulder and I'm going to silently point towards that rock, and I'm going to kind of what I would consider to be hunker run. So I'm going to be quite like hunkered down but running in a crouched motion towards those rocks.
Okay. When you get to the rocks and you sit down, I want you to make a perception check for me again, please.
Oh God.
It's not a rock.
The rock
It's
is
a tiny gargoyle.
no,
The rock is a mimic,
It's
no.
Is it
it's a
reasonable to say I
dragon scale.
would be looking at the gargoyles since I've already tagged them as suspicious?
Probably.
And I'm very paranoid.
Oh, I rolled a 9. That's not good.
So you rolled a 9 or a 10? I see.
9.
Okay.
I clicked it twice by accident. I'll take the first one.
Okay. All right. So yeah, you just settle behind the boulder. It's there. One thing that seems interesting is that you don't see any obvious place that it would have come from. Like it's not near a wall or anything. And as you look around some of these rocks, you see that a lot of them look like they've been scattered or thrown here as if by a hurricane or a storm.
Trebuchet.
Is this dragon poo? Am I crouched behind dragon poo?
Pretty confident
now?
it's a rock.
Okay. I touch it. Like, is it soft?
Oh.
I no longer.
I
think this is
just
dragon
stare at Urash
Did-
while I stealth
did the-
on.
poo. Did the others follow me?
I just stealth on towards the Mystic
I
Imp.
think
This
I think
is-
Greta is stealthing on while Celsig is looking
Okay.
up at the gargoyle, like really hard.
I'm like, because since I'm fairly confident they don't see me, I'm just standing very still and looking at them.
Okay. All right, so Greta, I'm going to have you head to about... Are you aiming for here? Like this side or not?
Yeah, I want to go behind the building.
Okay. So I'm going to have you do that. When you get there, I'm going to have you make another stealth check to deal with that little space that you just traversed.
I'm so... Come on, let's stealth on here. Stealthy, stealthy, stealthy.
Yeah, nailed it.
So...
At least it wasn't a crit fail.
It was pretty sure I
Absolutely nailed it,
stuck my-
friend.
I stuck my toe or something.
Yeah, so you're going across carefully, and then, yeah, literally you bang into this thing, and whoop, and there's a big whoosh, like spray of sand as you kind of face plant, and then get covered, and it blows, kind of rattles against the wall as the sand blows into the wall. Celsig, since you were staring right at them, I want you to make a perception check at advantage, please.
Okay. 25.
Yay for advantage. You think you see this one, and this one, all their heads in the direction of where the sound that Greta just made. But then
Right.
again, you look at it and they still don't move or do anything else. But you thought you saw all three of them.
All right. Now, the unfortunate thing is I'm not in a good position to communicate that to anyone right now. So Urash is still behind the rock right now,
Yes.
then, and Greta is currently desanding herself.
Correct. Well, I would assume. I mean, last I left Greta, she was face down in the sand. I'm assuming she's going to descend herself.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
I'm
wanna
willing
get
to
sand
get up
armor.
and descend myself.
I want to
It's one of the reasons I don't wear armor is sand.
I would like to
gets
sneak
everywhere, it's
over
rough.
to where
Oh, it's the gift that keeps on giving, friend.
Urash is hunkered down, assuming
Okay.
he's still stationary at the moment.
Yeah, suddenly I'm the smart one. Okay,
I'm the
gonna
invisible
move.
one. That sounds smarter.
But that's also true.
And I am
just-
coming to you.
I
Urash.
noticed.
I'm making progress.
noticed
That's
no
also
one.
smart.
I'm coming to you, Urash. What are you doing?
Smart.
What
Okay,
what
cool.
would you like to do next?
Okay, I'm gonna move to this rock right here.
Okay. That
I
one is
can
smaller.
highlight it.
You'll be able to get behind it still, but be aware that's the last
Can
one
I
of the
whisper
group
to him
here.
before he leaves?
Sure.
Yeah, it's like, they definitely moved. They looked at Greta.
I jump slightly because literally the air has just whispered to me. So I'm just like, oh jeez, oh by the 9, oh.
Make a stealth check for me, please, Arash.
You gotta stop doing that. That's fair. That's a fair roll.
I didn't make you guys do it before, but that's hilarious.
No, that's fair. I mean, we're in the not to sound too theatrical, but we're in the end game now. So
I don't really know how I'm gonna do that. But if I tapped Urash, I might have got stabbed.
Right? Yeah.
yes.
Okay.
Well, I mean, it's
So-
a 9.
So
I hope
you're
it
like,
wasn't a hard
huh,
roll.
and again, and you sort of, as you jump up, your arm bangs painfully into the rock, and so I imagine you're kind of like, just a little bit, and then immediately
I'm
cut
just like,
short.
oh, God.
Selsig, make another perception check for me, please.
I can see this unfolding in like stop motion slowness, and I'm hating it.
It's very Clash of the Titans.
17.
And so you think you hear,
There it is again.
Now 5 of them are all looking in your direction, maybe.
Sneaking up on people. Stop sneaking up on people. What's wrong with you?
Stop it! No, you 16, don't do that!
My arm's really sore. Stop sneaking up
My
on
coils aren't looking!
Look, that's why do you think I got behind the rock? I saw one of the goggles. I said to Greta, one of the goggles looking
I
at us.
told you
Where
there
were
was
you?
something off about it, but oh no, they're just
vanished.
fancy dwarf rocks.
So Greta, you can now
Vanished.
hear the sound of like a barely audible argument happening on the other side of the rock.
Yes, of course.
I'm gonna go to the second
I've been
rock.
traveling with these people before. This is. I'll now stealth on because nothing makes them faster than thinking that one of us is in danger.
Okay.
So I'll now stealth on. Can I stealth on?
Yes. Where do you want to head to? Because I know you're heading to the camp, but like, are you going here and then like tell me how you're going to make your path across?
I can draw this. I think. Wait, not draw freehand. Like I'm gonna. And then.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, let's see. All right. So you're going to go past. As you go past this area, I'm going to have you make a stealth check in a minute. But as you go past this area, you look over and you can see that there are a number of inside this like broken down building. There is a lot of sort of shards of wood and like stones and rock and things like that. And also what looks like maybe the first one or two stairs leading downward. So there seems to be something leading downward as you go past it.
I will remember this.
And I'd like you to make a stealth check, please.
Yeah.
As you cross
I
through
mean,
here.
what for? But still, okay. There we go. A 4.
4.
I'm stealthing on.
So you tell me what happens when you get past this part of the building. What happens to your stealth? Your much vaunted stealth.
I'm doing fine for myself. I think so.
Until.
I think I just get like there might be some wind blowing. I get like a fistful of sand into my face, and I just go like
Okay.
really, really loudly with like
Perception check for me, please,
all
Greta.
my constitution. 14 with a sand full of face. Sand full of face. Yes.
Sand full, you got a sand full of face right in your sand.
I got a
Sand
sand full of
yes.
face right now.
Okay, so let's see, and right there's that thing. Okay, so a couple things to note. First of all, you think, Greta, as you kind of are clearing off your
I
face
deleted
from the
my
sand.
token.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I deleted my token.
Well, let's see.
See, good at stealth.
It's gone. I'm just
She's gone.
You have a sand full of face and therefore have no.
A magic trick.
While we
I'm
take
going
this
to
short
make my
admin
Greta
break.
disappear, and she's gone.
Okay. Oh, I don't have it here. That's okay. Just give me a second.
I've got a great magic trick. I can make one of the party members disappear, but I can only do it once, and they can't come back. Draws axe.
Okay.
What's that for?
sorry, I'm gone. You just have to do this on your own now.
Here we go.
I'm out.
Here we go. There. I think you should be back now, Greta. See if you have control over.
I can control the token. Having control would be just too much to say at this
Okay.
point of the night. But yeah.
So, you think you hear the sound of creaking stone, but when you look up, Was it your imagination, or were the gargoyles facing another direction momentarily before?
Even if that was the case, there was nothing for me to stop them. So I stealth on.
When you get to this camp here, these tents, there are these 3 tents that are surrounding a smoldering campfire. And at the moment, you don't think you see anyone. I mean, you haven't gotten in the tents yet, but you don't see anybody outside. But you do notice something as you're walking along, which is that coming from the fire, or from the area of the fire, and this is not perfect, so you'll just have to go with me on this. Tracks of some kind, like this, leading from the camp into that building you just passed. And the tracks, as you look at them, have
They are with Imrith.
claws on each foot. They're too small for a dragon. Claws on each foot, and a long line behind them, as if perhaps of a tail.
Have I maybe seen this kind of trails when I saw River walking around?
No, not the same.
Okay. Still, now I know that they're going down and inside, so I will not go further towards the camp.
Okay, so
I will wait for my companions. They must arrive at some point when they're done. I don't know.
done arguing.
So I'll stay behind the building here and wait to show them the tracks. Can I do like stare at the tracks? Maybe I get an idea of what they are, nature or something.
Go ahead and make a nature check for me. Let's see.
It's not that I have nature, but maybe like I've got a little bit of time. So 17.
It's definitely got to be a tail which is creating this other thing, but you're not sure that you've encountered this much before, except that there are serpentine creatures that exist in the world that are allied sometimes with dragons, or are, how do I put this, dragon adjacent, right? Like they show up around when dragons do. There are different ones that are this possibility, but it's not a dragonborn, and it's not big enough to be a dragon. But could it be something else, like a lizard folk, a wanti? These are all possibilities. But these creatures' tracks look as if they're medium-sized. So they are not, enormous creatures.
Okay,
And there's more than one set of tracks, by the way. There's a couple of them.
I'll wait for the others to arrive, and then I will talk to them.
Okay, that is going to bring me back.
I mean, I might not see Solstic arriving, but at least
I am here. So, yes, I'm going to go to Celsig next. Celsig, what are you going to do? And then I'm going to jump to Urash here, last of all.
All right, fine. I'll go ahead this time. Just don't make any more noise. They're watching.
Okay.
Scaring people. Just go.
Not my fault. You're not paying attention. They're looking right at us.
Go. Just go. You're the sneaky one. You're the ranger.
I sneakily stomp off ahead.
Okay, make a stealth check. I'm going to take this at -2. I think you'll survive it.
18? -2 for 16.
I love how a 6 with -2 equals a 16. Okay, so you're able to get all the way over to here. Let me just delete that. Never mind that part. To right here. And when you do, again, you think you hear, but this time you don't bother to look behind you, a kind of like creaking and cracking sound as if of stone. But you're now here. Assuming you wish to be there. I was assuming you did, but...
Yes. I'm going to move on ahead so I don't make Urash have a heart attack when he arrives.
Okay. So do you want to move up to where Greta is?
I want to look in this building because I don't know what's going on in there, and Greta's a ways away.
Okay. So
I'm curious.
So you look inside. Are you kind of going around? Like, where are you going inside? Are you just going around to the...
Looking inside and around to like get the full layout.
Okay. So it looks like, as I mentioned, there are a lot of the like wood shards. There's what looks like almost a kind of sandstone altar or something. Not altar, but like a flat, like a plinth on which you would put things over here, like a shelf really. And then there are, again, you see a couple of stairs leading down to what is obviously a staircase leading downwards into something over there.
Mm-hmm. Shall head towards curiously.
Okay. So when you get here,
still being sneaky, I should probably specify.
When you get there, sneakily moving along, when you get there, I am going to need you, please, to make a dexterity saving throw.
Okay. Will a 21 do it?
Yeah, so what happens is, suddenly this area opens up. And slides open, and you are able barely, that's not what I'm looking for over here, you were able barely to slide, to basically leap out of the way before, oh, come on, give me a sinkhole.
It's a sandworm.
Give me a sinkhole.
Sandworm.
Haha!
Is this Tremors? Tremors?
Oh god.
Sandworm, Dune.
Graboids.
Before this hole opens up, and there's sand kind of like down the side, and you are like barely got out of the way of that. And as you look down it, Selsig, you hear a and as you look down below you in the hole, you see there is a pit, probably, I don't know, 15, 20 feet below. And squirming within the pit are a number of larger than you, purple worms. And as you're sort of looking down at these purple worms that are sightlessly crawling over each other, and you, Urash, hear the sound of stone beginning to move more steadily up where you were looking before.
Oh.
Yeah, did I hear that something happened inside the building?
Depends on what super silent stealthy guy did, because you definitely heard a psst. So when you come over, you can actually see that there's like sand, pouring down there.
A pit that wasn't there before.
Yep.
Okay, well that's interesting. Do I see Selsig?
I would say so. Selsig probably barely like prone, like looking, maybe staring, I don't know, you tell me, Selsig, wide-eyed down at the...
I'm muted. I said pulling back like, because sand is slippy, and being near the edge of a thing with sand on it, not good.
Yep.
I wave at Selsig.
And I wave back, and I point over at the gargoyles and try and mouth, "Told you so."
I try to make a charade to inform him of the lizard man.
Okay. So you like...
I tried to make a charade about a gargoyle statue.
All right, as these people are playing charades with each other, Urash, how are you getting over there, or are you?
I am just gonna move to the other stone.
Okay. To the other stone?
I am gonna try and move. So could I hide behind this stone, do you think, even if I'm crouching?
Yes, I think so.
Or is that too small?
I think you probably
Okay, I'm
can.
gonna
That's
move-
the last of the
I'm gonna
stones you can do that
move.
with. Yep.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm gonna move to that stone. Okay, you didn't ask me to make a roll. Okay,
didn't.
I'm now gonna move over here. Excellent.
Okay, now I want you to make a roll, a stealth roll there as you move across.
Crap. Stealth. 11.
And as Selsig is on the edge of the sand hole, as Greta comes around to see him staring down in horror at these purple squirming things. Well, you can't see it, but you can see him staring at something. And as Urash, you get to the other side, sort of kicking up sand and rocks as you go, you're able to look around the corner to see that all of these creatures now are moving all over the entire amphitheater. And for the first time, you notice that there are 4 of these creatures that have taken up positions behind each of the trebuchets. And as they roll the trebuchets into position facing down at this building, we're going to bring a close to today's session. And we are going to see what happens on the edge of a sinkhole with worms, with a bunch of gargoyles and trebuchets. And that's your cliffhanger. I like everyone's like, wait, no, what? No, cliffhanger. Literally a sand
We
hanger,
we should just tell them where this is continuing so they can hang.
That's a good point.
Yeah, 100%.
It is going to be, it's a good point. If you want to see more, I'm curious. First of all, Tasty Chai, hopefully Internet will be back with us, and we'll have her back with bells on and baby in tow in a couple of weeks. So we will see Chai playing River, the Dragonborn Sorcerer, and we're going to need to find out at that point what River wants to do with all of this. So we'll talk about that when we get there. But, Mike, when we resume, where exactly will they be able to find the mighty Urash? And what did you think of today's session?
Well, I think today's session went incredibly well, even though I was late and even though today was a day, many beers and also good company with the greatest people on the internet and playing the greatest game of all time really helps, to be honest with you. This has done my mental health today the world of good. So I really, really want to say thank you to everyone who has taken part. Obviously, yourself, of Darksaber, Paranjade, Tasty Chai in spirit, not in physical form. Every single member of chat. We've currently got 74 people watching us. Genuinely, much love, much respect to every single person watching us. And Urash himself, don't know, he's in a bit of a weird spot at the moment. Like, he's not normally a stealthy character. Yep. So he kind of expected to just turn up and be like, okay, let's fight the dragon. And now he's like, now I got to be stealthy, right? So he's trying to be stealthy, and then every now and then he's just like being scared to death by Selsig, and there's gargoyles, and he's not quite sure where he's going. And he's just sort of like, why are we splitting up? Like, I don't understand what's going on. So yeah, it's going to be very, very interesting to see what happens in the next session, which I believe is going to be our last session as well, which is, I don't quite know how I feel about that. I got to be honest with you. I'm a little bit, every time I start thinking about that and about other people, every time I'm thinking about that, because this is the first D&D session I've done in 5e, like 5th edition, full stop, and only the second D&D session I've done ever. So yeah, well, third if you discount, well, third if you count the Rise of Tiamat campaign that I played with yourself. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I get a little bit too emotionally invested in my character sometimes, so I'm a little bit, I get a bit emotional about them. So it'll be hard to let Urash go, but I think it'll be a case of just put him on the shelf for now, maybe revisit him another day. But yeah, I'm very, very excited to see what happens next.
It's good stuff. Thank you, Mike. And when they want to find you out in the world, where can they find you?
Yeah, absolutely. So you can find me every Thursday at 4:30 p.m. BST on basically youtube.com/peripheral mic or twitch.com/peripheral mic. And you can go on to, I'll stick a link in chat. There's a Willow link. There's a service I use that aggregates all of my social media links, and you can follow me on all the social media chats. I'll stick that in chat momentarily. But basically, if you tune in at 4:30 p.m. On Thursdays, I do what's called lo-fi gaming, which is basically me chilling out with some chilled out Zen gaming sessions. It's aimed to be an inclusive and relaxing stream that you can either have in the background, or you can have on a second monitor, or you can just chill out and listen to audio wise, whatever suits yourself. Basically, it's whatever is good for you. There's a zero pressure environment, and it's made for everyone. So I hope you can join us.
Good stuff, Mike. Always a pleasure. And thank you as always, and I look forward to seeing you at ArvCon. Mike has also been doing some video work for me, which I very much appreciate, and I'll get back to you about that stuff too, by the way, Mike, very shortly. So yeah, definitely check out Peripheral Mike for all of your lo-fi and technical and other gaming and video production, etc. needs. But thanks, Mike. Moving right on up the line. So we already know that he'll be there. That means by extension that you will also be there, Darksaber 2K. And today, Celsig was I have to say, the sequence with you behind the rock and the two of you just being like, "Why did you do that? Stop it!" was absolutely. I was dying. I was laughing as it was, but I was just like, I just this image, the visual for me of you doing that while these gargoyles are like, like looking at you was just cracking me up. I thought it was very funny, especially because Celsig is like, smoke on the wind, right? Like 30 stealth and all this stuff. So it's like, that was fun to watch. And there was a part of me that was kind of hoping you would fail the saving throw, because I really did want to see how you would handle being in the middle of a bunch of these little purple wormling things. It was going to be fun. How did you feel about today's session?
It was great. It really was. I mean, I really enjoyed this whole sequence. Like, picking up on that there's something off about these gargoyles, and everyone, no, that it's just fancy dwarf rock. They like
You're
that.
like the scientist, right? That no one listens to. You're like, no, I done it.
Yeah. And then it's just like the tension of them turning every time like someone's making noises, like there's more of them looking. And then getting in the argument with Orash was great fun. I can see in chat as well a lot of people were enjoying this. I'm glad I didn't end in the pit of whatever they are. On reflection, I probably should have checked. That's kind of what I'm supposed to do, but yeah, that's me. I didn't fall in, so at least there's that. Now we're stuck in a building with some trebuchets pointing in our general direction. We've got a giant pit in the middle, and it looks like the only option we've got is a trail where a lizardy thing may have walked down. So
should be great.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting start. I'm figuring out where River is in all of this next session.
Yeah, exactly. I imagine there's going to be a pitch like, so River in the meantime has prepared an incredibly elaborate plan in a tank that she's constructed in the meantime. So yeah. I'll be back with Celsig at ArvCon as well. Like Mike said, it's weird to be facing the end of the campaign after all this time. Very, very, very definitely. But we've got the Talisman campaign. We've got our plans that we're working on for Ghost of Saltmarsh. So be interesting to see what I come up with there. I'm mulling over a couple of ideas, discussing it with Mike and Pyron. So we're working out some things. So I'm looking forward to that. And I will be back tomorrow, hopefully doing a new release, but it's not out yet, so I can't say. So hopefully that'll happen. If not, then I'm going to be doing Shadow Man Remastered some more, because that's currently on sale this week and is fantastic. And I'll be back on my channel on Thursday. I think I'm going back to Disco Elysium, because I finally finished Nier after 60 hours of intensive playing over the last 2 weeks. I've got all the endings, so that's done with. And everyone's traumatized.
That was a good playthrough. I've enjoyed that quite a lot.
I
had a blast with that.
That's good stuff. Thank you, as always, Saber. I appreciate it. And yes, it will be fun to see all of those things taking through. And it didn't occur to me until Fleos had mentioned it that, like, it's true that this group basically, not Mike's part of it yet, because Mike joined a little bit later, but got its start really in 2016 as part of ArvCon, and will come to an end, just that campaign, in 2021. So 5 years of playing this campaign in one form or another. That's crazy. But, we made, 2 levels a year? Really, like, it was speedy. That's what happens. You only play once a month. What can I tell you? But anyway, great pleasure as always to have Saber with us. Thank you. And also, again, thank you for Move Button Dashboard 2. And again, thank you so much to Pyron Jade. So I was also cracking up at the idea of Greta being like, I'm going to do, my own thing. Am I stealthy? It's fine. And then, like, I had this image of the line from the Avengers where, or no, it wasn't the Avengers. I think it's actually DC, where Wonder Woman's like, children, I work with literal children. Like this Celsig and Orash, like, arguing with each other while you're sort of in the other end of the building. Like, are you really? Was interesting. And it's going to be interesting to see that Death Ward may come in handy as well. How Greta manages this stage, because as the healer, there's a lot to think about.
The Death Ward might come in handy.
It might come in handy. You never know, you know. How did you feel about today, and where will the lovely folks find you next?
As always, I love today. And I'm not sure that things are going wrong because I'm not sure if my companions have realized this. We are the distractions. We are supposed to draw attention on us. This is going great. I don't even know what everybody is so worried about. This will be fine. There was a meme that I don't think you realized when you said like coming out of the fire, and I was like, oh no, this is like the one time I have not put create water on my prepared spell list. And then it was like
quick
it was,
note,
and then it was like like a trail. I was like, oh okay, yeah, that's fine. That's fine. So yeah, campaign coming to an end. It has been a wonderful 5 years. I think I've missed 2 sessions over that time.
Yep.
I think Saber is the only one who missed none.
Yeah, Saber was here for
That
everyone.
might be right, actually.
I think so, yes. I'm loving this, and I'm looking forward to the next campaign already. I have had it in my character. Chat, you're completely free to guess what it is, but I'm giving you the hint. It's not a cleric.
Not a cleric.
So it's not a cleric, no. So
Definitely
you're
not
absolutely
cleric.
free to guess race and character class if you want to, and if somebody should guess it correctly, well, maybe I could like give out a game key for that if it comes like in time,
Wow.
not like doing this for the next few weeks or something, but
Right, exactly.
tweet at me, so that's always fine. Oh, lazy observer guesses a bard. There we go. And so yeah,
You get it
next
bad.
time, well, on Tuesday for Talisman Adventures, of course. And sometimes I try to join in on Saber's stream on Saturday when he has community multiplayer. But I can also already hint that at the beginning of June, if the stars align rightly, there might be a really cool thing that might have me do a few streams a week
Really?
for something that I really like. But I can't say it right now because it's not 100% confirmed yet, but it's going to be absolutely awesome. And yeah, so let's just wait. So June, there might be a lot of presents depending on what's coming up.
That's awesome. I am excited for that. And you will have to stay tuned in, chat, if you want to know what these secrets are in D&D and otherwise. I want to thank, as always, my wonderful players. I always have a blast with them. I am very excited, not only for ArvCon at the end of the month, but, of course, for Talisman Adventures next week, which has also been going
With your
well.
S team.
With the S team, with the S tier team, yes. With all of us having now hardcovers of Talisman Adventure books, all of us having, that access. So thank you to Pegasus Spiele, who is one of the sponsors for ArvCon, and more adventures in that line to come. So I will see these folks for that next week. But otherwise, chat, can we get some love for the wonderful players? Thank you so much to Pyron Jade, to Darksaber2K, to Peripheral Mike, and in spirit to Tasty Chai, who will be back with us hopefully next week for Talisman Adventures and for ArvCon at the end of the month. Thank you, everyone. Good stuff tonight. Bye for now.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.
And that is going to do it for that. This music actually ended up working really well for the stealth. I wasn't expecting it was going to work quite so well, but it ended up working really great. And yeah, it's going to be quite a finish. Let me tell you, it's going to be quite a finish to this adventure, which is great. And I am looking forward to it. But that said, it is now my time to rise up on out of here because I don't think we have anyone after us. I think Wolfie Lore is up next on Wednesday, if I'm correct. I don't think Wolfie Lore is right now. I think Wolfie Lore is tomorrow. So that's going to wrap it up for tonight. There may or may not be a bonus stream that may show up on my stream in the next couple of days. I do want to mention that my Icarus graphic novel is a finalist in the Independent Book Publishers Association Benjamin Franklin Awards, and that it's one of 3 finalists. It's a silver medalist at least, and they're going to be announcing the gold medalist tomorrow between 7 and 8:30 p.m. Eastern. So you might want to check that out if you are interested in finding out whether or not I have made the cut, as it were, and whether or not Icarus, my graphic novel, is a gold medalist. I'm hopefully crossing fingers and, hoping for the best. Obviously, it's already an honor just to be nominated in that finalist category, so that's already awesome, but it would be great if we end up winning it, so we'll see what happens tomorrow. Either way, though, I want to thank everyone for being here and remind you all that next week I'll be here at 4 p.m. Eastern with Talisman Adventures for episode 276 of Pen and Pixels. And again, I'll be on my channel this week. Again, Wednesday night, I may be doing like a little reaction stream to that Icarus thing that I just mentioned. And then, of course, 9 p.m. tomorrow, we have the awesome community D&D group on my channel, which consists of Echo Alpha X5 and Triffany Mats and Rock God and Hoodie, with Shadowed Mage as the DM for Dragon of Icespire Peak. That campaign is going to be continuing tomorrow night, so you should stop by if you want some more D&D shenanigans for that. Then again, Thursday we're off. Friday, I'm going to be part of a game which is a joint production of my Twitch channel and my podcast Speculate, which is an actual play podcast, and it's the game Rebel Crown, where I play Venner Crace, who's kind of an angry, gravelly vengeant who wants to be able to get back what's owed to him. So that's what I do on Friday, this coming Friday. And then Saturday, some Metroid Prime for people. And Sunday, we have another Speculate Twitch event of Blades in the Dark Case the Cindered Seal. So we got a lot of stuff coming up on my channel, but also right back here next Tuesday for Talisman Adventures. If you like what you saw, please follow us here on GOG.com. Please subscribe to us here. And please also consider clicking through and following and subscribing to us on our individual channels as well. Otherwise, I want to thank everyone for being here. You're all lovely, awesome people. And I will catch all of you wonderful people either on my channel later this week or next week on Tuesday for more Pen and Pixels and more tabletop role-playing with Talisman Adventures. Thanks again as well to Fleos for doing the audio podcast of what you just saw. And again, if you want to see where it all began or hear where it all began, you should check out that podcast which Fleos is putting together because he's an officer and a gentleman. That's it for me. I'll catch all you lovely people soon. Everyone be good to each other. And catch Wolfie tomorrow morning for GOG.com as Wolfie plays something cool. I'll catch you folks soon. Thank you to my wonderful players, and I'll see you all soon. Bye for now.